Hello, hello, and good morning. On today's stream, we're going to be discussing The Boys. We're going to... Wait, what the hell? Wait, what the... Can you guys hear me okay? What the hell? What the hell? Damn it! What the... Why can't I hear the music anymore? Hang on a second. Oh man. Dude, I need to be... God damn it. Let me see if I can fix it in here. Hang on. Let me see if I can fix it. I have to be able to... Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. Do that. Hey, I fixed it. Let's go. Okay, because I want to watch some videos and shit. So, like, I got to be able to hear what you guys hear. You know what I mean? Anyway, like I said, we're fine. Everything's perfect around here. Professionals as always. Ha ha! Welcome into the show. Welcome into the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. I want to talk about The Boys. Today's stream, two very specific things that I want to do. I want to talk about The Boys, Season 4, first 3 episodes. A lot to get into. And, I don't know, man. They might have screwed up. I'm going to be honest. Like, we're going to talk about it, but this season feels different in a number of ways. And I just don't know, man. I just don't know. So I want to get into it. I want to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, what's working for me, what's not working for me. And I want to figure out, how do we think the overall fan base is accepting or rejecting of The Boys? And, is this thing going to be that hyped up project that we thought it was going to be? Is it going to be able to be awesome as hell and be incredible? Or has it fallen off? I'm not sure, but I want to get into that. I want to talk about it. Later on in the show, I want to do research for House of the Dragon. We're actually going to do something interesting. So right now, the thumbnail is about The Boys, and the title is about The Boys. When we start our research for House of the Dragon, I'm going to change the title, and I have a different thumbnail that I want to use, because I want to really get in to the research of this show. And there are several things that I really want to focus the research on as we get ready for House of the Dragon. Number one, the new dragons. Because apparently there's new dragons in the show. And they're making them more visually distinct, which is cool. So I want to research and figure out what dragons were out before. Have they commented on what dragons are going to be in the show? I like dragons. I like dragons. So I want to find out about the dragons. The other thing I want to know what houses are on what team. Because, I'm pretty sure, guys, we saw one of the Starks in Season 1 pledge to Rhaenyra, right? Pretty sure. And if you know anything about the Starks, once they make an oath, that's it. So I'm confident that they're going to be on Team Black, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're with the Blacks because they literally pledged with the king that they would support his daughter. Okay, so that's another thing. We want to know about the Dragon Seed. The Dragon Seed are apparently Targaryen bastards. But because they have Targaryen blood, they are able to bond with dragons. And so there's this whole thing from the book and from the lore about the Dragon Seed. A bunch of bastards that I'm pretty sure get brought in on Team Green. And on Team Green, they're going to bond with dragons and become sort of like an army there. Because Wasn't it the case that like Damon had like a clutch of eggs that he was working on, and then there's a bunch of eggs that they find on the other side? Look, here's the truth. I'm kind of a normie when it comes to Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire and all that lore. And so in the back half of today's stream, I want to deep dive on that and become a little bit more than a normie. I would like to know things. So we want to talk about that. And then lastly, I want to talk about like the Starks, because I think that's going to be a huge thing for a lot of fans. I love House Stark, and I'm excited to see them more active in this season of House of the Dragon. So that's basically what's on the docket for today. We're going to start by talking about The Boys. We're going to explore the positives, the negatives, the crazy political shit that they put into it. And we're going to talk about if this is going to hurt or, like, basically, dude, I don't know. I kind of low-key feel like they might have screwed up with The Boys. And it's not just the political stuff. There's a couple of things I have issues with. And I'm just really curious how this is going to shake out, right? So we'll start there. Then I want to get into the research about House of the Dragon. Now, I also think, and I kind of just imagine, that we'll probably get some questions about, you know, Star Wars. Because it's been an absolutely crazy week for Star Wars and the Star Wars fandom. And I'm, you know, frankly, a little bit in shock as to how the reaction has been. So, yeah, it should be a good day. It should be a fun day. A lot of fun stuff to get into, a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Now, we are, of course, put it on the screen. Put it on the screen there. What the hell? Okay, boom, there it is. We are driving for memberships currently. This is going to be something that you're going to want to pay attention to as well. Which, by the way, did you guys see my Targaryen, my chair? It's all House of the Dragon. Yeah, let's go. So later today we are going to be doing another drawing for a $200 GameStop gift card. Why has it got the gunk on it? Ew. It's like The Boys over here. Hang on. It isn't updated from the 50 gifted? What the hell, man? All right, well, I'll leave that up there anyways because it's kind of chill to see. But damn, I wish it would actually work. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, we are going to draw for the $200 GameStop gift card today. Any member is eligible to win, whether you got a gifted membership or you paid for your membership yourself. You can be a member here on YouTube. You can be a member over on Twitch. And, in fact, you can be a member on both. And that will get you 2 entries to win the $200 GameStop gift card. We're currently driving. We're trying to get to 2,000 members. If we get to 2,000 members, then next month we will do 2 of these $200 GameStop gift cards. And we're going to add an extra day to the streaming schedule. Woo! Hell yeah. So more fun if we make that goal. And obviously, I appreciate all the support that we're getting either way. Rossi, thank you for the gifted membership. Also tonight, we're going to be doing the Unity Town Hall. If you're a Unity collector, come on by the stream tonight. I had a migraine last night. Kind of fucked up my evening, honestly, because even as I was watching The Boys, I was like, ah, man, this migraine is like, I don't know. I would have much preferred to, like, watch it without the migraine, honestly. But I still enjoyed it for the most part. But, yeah, so I couldn't do the stream last night, but we are going to be doing it tonight. And I hope to have some cool surprises for you guys tonight. So come on by for that if you are a Unity collector. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess before we get into The Boys a little bit here, just want to know, how's everybody doing? How's your week been? What's on your mind? Probably at like 1275 now. Probably. It's crazy that doesn't... Like, I wish there was a way... Like, it's honestly crazy that it doesn't just, like, work. Like, that is so dumb to me. Like, I kind of can't believe it doesn't just work. You know what I mean? But, The Strange Sock says, would you say the first 3 episodes of The Boys season 4 is the most political it's gotten? Absolutely. Yeah, I would absolutely say that. And I think it's by design, too. I mean, what do you guys think? First of all, have you guys watched all 3 of the episodes? It's kind of a big ask. Like, the more I was thinking about it, it looks like it just worked. What do you mean? Top 5? No. Yes, yes. Watch 2 of them. Watch the first 2. Huh. Yeah. Yes, I have watched all 3. Nice. Watched all 3. Binged it with the homie. Nice, dude. That's always fun. None yet? Oh, my God. Sage was awesome. Yeah, I like Sage. Yeah, so I think, I mean, all right, let's get into this because I've got some thoughts here, man. I've got some thoughts about these episodes, okay? I don't know what the deal is exactly with Amazon, but why do they keep going from like the 9 p.m. release to the 3 a.m. release? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the rationale for that? Because when it comes to Invincible, man, I got to tell you, I don't know if you could screw that up worse than the way that they screwed up Invincible. Like, Invincible Season 1 was peak. It caught this crazy wave. People absolutely loved it. Invincible Season 2, not only is it not as good, it doesn't look as good. Like, the animation's worse. The release time is worse. The delay was crazy. And then they split an 8-episode season into 4-episode and 4-episode. What is the rationale there? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. And, you know, Invincible never broke into Nielsen. By the way, neither did X-Men 97. Aaliyah was shared some data with me last night. Neither Invincible nor X-Men 97 ever charted in originals or overall on Nielsen, like ever. And, you know, I just don't get it, man, because I think it's a mistake. I think it hurts the show's ability to become a part of the conversation. I mean, dude, the water cooler talk, especially if it's a show that's going to be released every week, right? The water cooler talk for that is a big part of it. When Game of Thrones was coming out, and this started maybe with the first or second season, I think by the time second or third season comes around, it was getting huge numbers. You'd watch it every Sunday. And then every Monday when you'd go to work, there'd be a bunch of people that you knew that watched it, and the discussion would be crazy. The discussion online would be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's wild. It's wild to me that that model works so well when it just comes out at a reasonable time. And then, like, I just don't get it, right? So I personally think it's, first of all, it's frustrating for me because I'm on the East Coast. But beyond that, I think it's just a silly business move. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a silly business move to do that. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, how bad is it? I haven't really seen a lot of discussion about The Boys on social media at all. In fact, I want to look this up, man. I want to look at this right now. I wish I could see, like, the total impressions and the total discussions about it. Because, like, yes, there are obviously a lot of posts that are working for it. For me personally, though, I did not see a lot of conversation created. And I don't think it ever cracked into trending. If I check trending right now, let's see. Hmm. Yeah, it's not even in the top 30, dude. Like, unless I'm missing something, I don't think it's not in the top 30. Yeah. And that's crazy, you know. And look, that doesn't necessarily mean that nobody's watching because Invincible, or rather, X-Men 97 would trend. Almost after every episode, it would be trending, right? It didn't chart, so it wasn't getting watched as much, but the conversation was crazy. And as a brand, like, you absolutely want that. That matters. That matters. You know, it's a big deal. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it is a big deal. You want people talking about your stuff. It's what's called earned media, right? So I think the release schedule is really weird, and I want to ask, some of my friends in the space. Like, I'll probably ask Paul, maybe around Monday. Some of my other buddies, like, how are your videos performing? Because I wonder if it's going to affect the way that the videos perform as well. Because instead of having, like, even with something like Accolade, right? It comes out, and then there's immediate conversation, immediate, like, videos, and then there's, like, a whole content cycle that happens the day after. That's really interesting, and even 2 days after, 3 days after. All of that conversation gets kind of centralized around that point, right? So, yeah, I find that to be really interesting. And I can't help but think that that's just a screw-up. I also think that doing 3 episodes at once is also a screw-up. And I wonder, I mean, you guys tell me, do you think that that's good or bad? Because on the one hand, yes, it's awesome to have a big chunk of content. And I do think the episodes work really well together because, frankly, I think episode 2 is a little weak. And I think episode 3 is stronger, so that's good. But if you're anything like me, you probably waited until later in the day, you know, once the kids are in bed or whatever, to watch these episodes. And 3 hours is a pretty big ask. You know what I mean? Now, in Netflix land, you can drop a whole series, and the conversation usually is still kind of centralized to that point. And I don't think it's as big of a deal because people will binge a couple episodes, then the next day binge a couple episodes, then like over the weekend do a big binge. Some people just wait for the weekend and do a big binge or whatever. But there is a built-in pressure to watch these episodes as quickly as possible, not only to be a part of the discussion, but because next week, if you don't, you're behind. Right? So I just got to say, like, just as the sort of nerdy pundit or whatever you want to call me, like, I'm telling you, like, number one, the late release, stupid. Number two, doing 3 episodes, stupid. Okay? And on top of that, I do kind of feel like going this political in the show is potentially a mistake as well. Now, we've talked a lot about this kind of stuff for the past several years, but there's obviously, in case you guys didn't know, there's a divided... People are divided. And the culture war, you know, it's a big thing. We're in an election year. It's like rearing its ugly head. And the boys' strategy, at least as far as I'm concerned so far, the boys' strategy in what I've seen in season 3 has been to go super anti-MAGA, super anti-Republican. And in the past, I've always thought that the boys absolutely has that. Like, I've been saying for years that I think the boys is super woke. It's a super woke show. It also happens to be really good and compelling. And so I've always been interested in it regardless of that. But it's always been that. And a lot of people would say, well, it's not just that it's super political. It's not, or rather, they would say it makes fun of both sides. A little bit like the South Park thing, right? Where, yes, it'll make fun of the right, but it also makes fun of the left. And that has been the case. Like, that's been a thing. And maybe there's a little bit of that in the first 3 episodes of The Boys so far. But I got to tell you, I've never thought it went this hard. And on top of that, you've got the showrunner. You literally have the showrunner coming out there telling people to not watch it if they don't like woke stuff. And you've got the showrunner coming out there and saying it's always been about Trumpism. And that's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off for him. I mean, I just continue to think that getting very political or, you know, trying to sort of label half the country as bad and all these sort of things, I just continue to believe that it's a mistake. You know? Look, it's yet to be determined if it's affecting the show, how's the viewership. It's way too early. We don't really know. But it was something that when I was watching the show, I was like, damn. Like, they're going for it. And yeah, I'm wondering if you guys agree. I'm wondering what you guys think about it. For me personally, I actually like the episodes. And I'll get into kind of like what I don't like. But this is a little bit like Acolyte, which is weird, and I don't think a comparison that any show will ever want. But it's a little bit like Acolyte because I might not be as bothered as some people are about the Acolyte thing. But I also have eyes and ears. I'm not going to put my head in the sand. And I can just see what the reaction is, and I can see what's happening. And I made the video yesterday, man, and I was like, the point I was trying to make in the video was the market decides, right? Like, I don't decide whether or not this thing kills Star Wars or destroys the Star Wars fan base, right? I have my opinions. I have my perspective. I don't get to decide. The market decides. And I think the market is rejecting Acolyte full stop. I think the amount of people that are going to support the Acolyte moving forward from here is going to be less than the amount of people that watched Andor. I don't know if that'll show up exactly right in the data, but that's like the messaging, and that's like if I was reading the tea leaves, dude. Like, I have frankly never seen more people upset at Star Wars. I've never seen this level of frustration and anger directed towards Star Wars. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's really wild. And I guess we'll see if that will carry over into the boys, right? So I guess we'll see. Now, let's talk about the merits of the actual show, but I am curious as to what you guys think. Like, is anybody picking up what I'm setting down? All the videos I see on YouTube are Star Wars hate. It's crazy. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's literally all I see, too. And that's all I see on social media. Dude, the social media shit is wild, bro. Like, it's wild. Trev, I'm going to time you out for a little bit, brother. I don't know what you're spamming, dude, but I'm going to time you out for a little bit. Just chill out, bud. Just chill out. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. He's not speaking toward the political aspects of the comedy. He's talking about the political perspective in the real world. Yeah, for sure. Like, dude, when your showrunner is literally coming out and being like, yo, it's always been about Trumpism. It's like, I don't know, bro. If you're really trying, like, I feel like it's so stupid, dude. I feel like, why would you even say that? Like, it could be super obviously about Trumpism. Like, you could have Homelander in a red hat, and I still think the appropriate, from the PR perspective, like, marketing perspective, promotional perspective, I still think you say, yeah, no, it actually speaks to a divide, and, you know, a political thing that goes back to blah, 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 blah. Like, I think the last thing you want to say is that. It becomes so fucking divisive, and people get so upset about it. So, I don't know. Like, again, it's a bold move, man, and we'll see. And just like I said with Acolyte, I'm open to being wrong about this, right? So, like, part of me, like, I'm sitting back, and when Acolyte was promoting itself, when Acolyte's been promoting itself, I've had the perspective that it's been absolute trash, that it's been horrible, that it's been the opposite of what you want to do when you're promoting a show. And it seemed like to me, and I tried to articulate this earlier too. It seemed to me like Acolyte was basically trying to completely ignore the online discourse. And Acolyte was taking the perspective of all of that doesn't matter. It's all just noise. We will do this. It will get numbers. It will be considered successful, and people will enjoy it. Right? And I'm like, wait a minute. Could that actually be the case? Could that be what's going to happen? And if Acolyte, like, crushed, and it just did huge numbers, and it, like, won awards, and, like, a lot of fans were praising it and stuff like that, I would have sat back and said, damn, I guess I'm wrong. Maybe it is viable to go right at that group of people, to ignore the frustrations, to consider it all noise and just tune it out. And I don't know, man. I gotta say, I think episode 3, and I think the discourse around episode 3 kind of proved that that's not true. Again, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see what is actually going on in the numbers. Like, how is it actually performing? But from my perspective right now, I just, I don't really think it's good. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, when it comes to The Boys specifically, let me talk about a couple of things that I really liked. Then I'll talk about a couple of things that I really didn't like. Then we can steal Paul's homework and watch his breakdown if you guys are down, which I think would be kind of fun. Because I assume Paul did a big old breakdown. Yeah, The Boys. Oh, it's not Paul, though? Oh, wait, no, that's New Rockstars. Okay, yeah. 50 minutes? $50 minutes, bro? What? Here, hang on one second. $50 minutes? My God. Nah. And then an hour long for The Boys? Dude. 40 minutes for Ryan Airy? I don't know, man. Okay, anyway, let me do my thing, and then we'll pick out a video. Think Story has a 28-minute video, and I like Think Story. Maybe we'll do his video. Okay, let's go to the... I want to see how you guys enjoyed these first 3 episodes. Let's go to the polls on this first. What did you think of The Boys Season 4 episodes so far? And we'll go loved them. We'll go liked them. We'll go meh. And then we'll go hated them. Boom, there you go. There you go. Didn't watch? Well, then don't vote in the poll. Don't you dare vote in the poll if you haven't seen the episodes. Don't you dare. Also, I need to turn this just down just a little bit. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit darker. But it's getting hot in here. What about a poll option for Will Ferrell? Dude, I loved Will Ferrell in the show. I thought he was great. And I was like laughing so hard at it. Turned it off after Frenchie was gay. Interesting. Yeah, so okay, let's talk about a couple of different things here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the things. Where should we start? You know what? Let's start with the things that I liked. Okay? I really liked the Homelander arc so far in the show. And Anthony Starr continues to be amazing. I kind of think that Anthony Starr is approaching that RDJ level where we're like, that is just the guy for that role, and what a match made in heaven. And we'll probably look back and be like, one of the best comic book characters ever put to television or live action. You've got Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. You've got Chris Evans as Captain America. You've got RDJ. You've got Chris Hemsworth, right? Sometimes we get a great casting that becomes super iconic and something that I can imagine in 5-10 years from now. I will probably want to revisit just to see that performance. You know what I mean? Or maybe to show my kids or to show some people that performance. So I think that he's great. And I think he continues to be great. It's interesting as he's dealing with aging, right? So that's really cool, right? Him actually dealing with aging, him wanting to support Ryan, but being unsure and just not knowing how to be a dad, not knowing what kind of legacy he wants to set behind. I thought that was really intriguing. And the tension with Homelander has maybe been always one of the best things within The Boys, and I think it's on point in this season. And I think the best part of the show is Butcher and Homelander kind of fighting over the soul of Ryan, right? And Ryan's obviously an interesting character, but he's interesting by proxy. I don't know if he's that interesting on his own, but it's more about the forces that are trying to manipulate Ryan, his mother's wishes for him. It's really interesting. So Ryan is an interesting character, but as a proxy. And I think every time the show is dealing with Ryan and Butcher and Homelander, it's on point. It's probably right. It's just as good, if not better, than anything they've had before with the show. I think it's absolutely the best part of the show. A new character that kind of surprised me, character that I really, really like, is Sage. I find the Sage character to be fantastic, man. You know, one of the things I was thinking about when I was watching Sage, right? I was like, man, I hope that Pedro Pascal takes notes, because she played Genius so well. And the first scene with her and Homelander together is maybe my favorite scene in the show so far. Like, it's great. Like, I thought it was fantastic. It was really well written. It was really well acted. There's a crazy tension to it. She is one-upping Homelander, but Homelander also, like, has the thing on her where he's like, hey, if you want to be the genius that's hidden away in your room of books, go ahead. But if you want to put some of this crazy shit into action, I am the way for you to do it. And I thought that was great. I thought it was fantastic stuff. So I really like that character, and I like the way she's manipulating things. You know, I randomly really love what they're doing with A-Train, too. A-Train's on a really cool arc, and I like what they're doing with him and, like, bringing him into The Boys. I think that's fantastic. So that really works for me. Like the gore and the sexual stuff, I don't know. I almost feel like it's toned down a little bit. But then again, there were like multiple times in every episode where I'm literally just sitting back like, what the fuck? Like, it just has to be crazy. Like, they just have to do that. And Eric Kripke and all the people that are involved in the show, they just feel like they have to continue to push the envelope. It's never been my favorite aspect of the show. There's got to be people out there that watch the show for that reason. Like, that has to be a thing. That absolutely has to exist. But that's not really why I watch the show. That's not really how I derive enjoyment from it. And while I felt like it was toned down in certain aspects, There are other parts where you're just like, damn, like they're just doing it for that, man. And they're just trying to be edgy. And they're trying to be really crazy. And I honestly feel like, look, it's fine if you really like that stuff. But it reminds me of, there was a subreddit, I think, called I'm 13 and This Is So Edgy. And it's like a lot of that energy. Like, I don't think it's as cool as they think it is. I don't think it's as clever as they think it is. I think it sometimes takes me out of it. Makes me think people are fucking weird. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It's not my favorite thing. So I don't know. I'd have to give that a passing score. There's obviously parts where I'm like, bro, what the fuck? But yeah. Let me think if there's anything else I really like about the show before I get in there. Or into the negative stuff. I mean, I kind of like what they're doing with Deep. Like, it's interesting. The whole octopus thing is kind of hilarious. I think it's funny that Sage just wants to bang him. Sage seems to be manipulating everything behind the scenes, so that's pretty cool. Let me see. Is there anything else? Anything else I really like about it? Yeah, I think that might be it. And look, overall, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's off to a strong start. But I will say this. I think narratively, the show has gone off the rails a little bit. And part of why, I feel like there are aspects of the show that are overwritten. I feel like there are parts of the show that I'm supposed to care about that I don't care about. Mostly this has to do with the group, The Boys, which is crazy and unfortunate, but like Huey, his dad, Starlight, and Billy, I don't care about that at all. And his mom too, bro, I don't care about it at all. You know? So it's like crazy, right? It's like, oh, the show is called The Boys, and early on in the show, that was like the super compelling aspect of the narrative was like the boys and what are they doing, and they're trying to kill the Soups and all this sort of stuff. Dude, I just don't care about it at all. So like every time the show is focusing on that stuff, I don't care. Frenchie and Kimiko and what's the guy's name? I forget the guy's name, but like that whole thing, it's fine. I'm not really offended one way or the other. You know, like I know a lot of people are like, I can't believe they made Frenchie gay. It's like, I don't know, man. You know, he always felt like he was bi or a little bit gay to me. So I don't really have a problem with it. But I think the thing for me about the Frenchie, Kimiko, whatever love triangle is that it really feels like it's just a thing on a whiteboard. Like, let's add something for these characters to do. And it's really not that interesting to me. It's not really that compelling. I don't really care about it. Like, at all. The political stuff and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like, if you could explain to me what the fuck Jeffrey Dean Morgan is doing in this show, I'll give you a Buffalo nickel, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't really feel like I care. I feel like when he's on screen, I'm like, oh shit, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But can we get back to like Homelander and shit? You know, like that's kind of my feeling. So that aspect of the show is not working for me at all. And it's like, it feels like a lot of that shit's just convoluted. Like, I just don't care. Not only do I not care, I can't even follow it, bro. Like, I seriously, what's he doing? He's a character from the comics? Yeah, but in the show, what's he doing? Like, what? Earning a paycheck. Yes, for sure. What is he doing? Like, what is that? What? You know what I mean? So, like, I just don't care about that at all. The lady that's vice president and her whole plan and all of that sort of stuff. I felt like they took something that was really intriguing in the previous seasons, where she's working with Huey and revealed to be the person that's actually popping the heads, and she's a Soup, and her daughter and all that stuff. And now it's like she's arced out, and I just don't care. Like, I just don't care. And there's no real tension in her scenes because she doesn't appear to want to pop any heads. So there's like no tension there whatsoever. Now, another thing that really bothered me is Erin Moriarty. I think that's how you say her name, right? Oh, man. This one's kind of sad, dude. It's like, it's not even fun to talk about. It's not fun to look at. And I feel bad for her, man. I feel bad for her. Like, let me just explain, and I'll just try to be honest, and I want to be compassionate. I want to be compassionate here. But she is hard to look at. She is hard to look at, and I don't know what's going on with her, but the show seems to want to cut away from her a lot. It feels really artificial, where you'll have characters she's talking to, and the character she's talking to has more screen time in a scene than she does. The show's cutting away from her, bro, because she's very hard to look at, and she's very hard to like. And on top of that, she doesn't even sound the same, dude. Like, she doesn't even sound the same. And I don't know if it's like, maybe she's dealing with some shit and she's on some drugs. Maybe whatever operation she had just makes her so her fucking face doesn't move the same way. I don't know what it is exactly, but it is so awkward and hard to look at and hard to listen to. And I'm like, ugh. That's a shame. That's a shame. You know? So her character is basically ruined for me. And there were a couple of scenes where it's bearable. But for the most part, I was like, this is awful. Yeah, it's awful. And that's all I'll say about that one. So that shit was whack. Even Frenchie, or even MM looks a little bit different. I'm not really sure what the deal is with him. Maybe he lost some weight. I think he's got a different mustache on it or whatever, but he even looks a little bit different. And I don't know, man. I mean, it feels like, for as much as, like, I guess here's my big kind of complaint about the show overall. The main thing that has always worked with the boys is still working, and I am watching it for that reason. But a lot of the other stuff that's happening feels really overwritten. So, like, as way, for instance, when it's revealed that Starlight was mean to Firecracker at a pageant, I was just like rolling my eyes. Like, that feels like overwriting to me, because yes, you want to show that Sage is really brilliant and that she's doing stuff specifically to try to, like, get over on Starlight or this, that, second, and the third, right? But I can't help but feel like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, it could have just been as simple as Firecracker wants to support Homelander Starlight is the opposition, and so therefore Firecracker is the one. And I would honestly say, like, to me, it feels more intelligent to be like, oh, we need someone like Firecracker who's really going to rev up our base. She plays great in our base, and she also, like, makes the other people super angry. That's good enough. Like, dude, that is literally good enough. And then they had to take it to a level of, like, oh, no, there's actually this deep-seated thing from the past, and that's why she got to, and I was just like, dude, I don't need any of that. That just feels like, it honestly feels artificial. It doesn't feel real. It's like super whack. So I didn't like that, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that that's being overwritten. And Sage has this idea to, like, divide and conquer and then have Homelander swoop in as Caesar and all that stuff, but she's not smart enough to know that Homelander will not actually listen to her, you know, and stuff like that. So it's like, I think the show thinks it's smarter than it is. I think the writers think they're more clever than they are. And I think they should kind of get out of their own way and just make it about fucking Homelander and Billy and the kid. Move everything else out of the way, because it feels like we're treading water. We're going on, like, side story adventures, and I just simply don't care. Right? So I gotta say, I'm still really enjoying the show, way less than I thought I was going to. I thought these first 3 episodes were gonna blow my fucking mind, and I was gonna be like, oh my god, here we go, bro. Let's go. The Boys back better than ever. And it kind of feels like The Boys is back doing The Boys things, and then trying a bunch of other stuff that also just isn't working. That's ultimately how I feel about the show so far. And I'm still down. Like, I'm gonna watch the rest of the season. I'm gonna keep going. But I think, you know, the bigger question, to kind of take it back to the beginning, right, is like, did they screw up? I mean, you start to add up all of these little things, right? Like just walk with me on this for a little bit here, okay? You start to add up, what has it been, 2 years since the last season? Somebody check me on that. Has it been 2 years since the last season? 2 years, 3 a.m. release time, all 3 episodes at once, overwritten, over political. You've got the people out there talking about Trump. Dude, you start to add all this stuff up, and I'm like, damn, I wonder here, man. I really do wonder, because I'm enjoying the show so far. I think the Rotten Tomatoes scores on the first 3 episodes have been a little lukewarm as to what people thought they would be. They've just announced that the next season is the last season. Some people are suggesting that was done to sort of combat the Rotten Tomatoes scores, to kind of give people a sense of like, okay, so we have an end point. This chapter's important, etc., etc. Right? I don't know. I want to see. I would love to see how the show is doing. And the other thing that's interesting about this is because, look, we're mostly, the majority of stuff we do and talk about is related to Marvel, right? Like, I love the MCU. I love the Marvel stuff. So that's like a really big part of what I talk about, the content that I make. And we've heard that a show like The Boys and a show like Invincible have impacted the decision-making of Marvel. And that Marvel, in some ways, is adapting to be a little bit more like The Boys, to be a little bit more like Invincible, mature in content, a little irreverent, rated R, stuff like that. And it's like, oh, man, what if they're chasing something that is kind of already becoming unfashionable, that's already going out of style a little bit? And I feel like that would be maybe the worst case scenario. You know, that would be sort of a rough way to take it. But yeah, overall, enjoy the show. less than I thought I would, but I'm still riding with it. And I also can't help but feel like they might have screwed up. They might have screwed up. They might have fucked it up. I don't know. What do you guys think? Def the worst case? Yeah, that would be absolutely be the worst case, huh? All right, let me catch up on some chats here. Rossi says, started Hot D. It's incredible. Great TV writing. 5 seconds later, I thought, fucking Star Wars, get some incredible writers. Yeah, no, that's true. You know, we're going to get into the House of the Dragon stuff a little bit later on stream, but I expect House of the Dragon to blow all of this shit away. I think House of the Dragon is going to blow the boys away. I think House of the Dragon is going to blow Ahsoka away. I think House of the Dragon is like... It's really just executing and operating on a level that these other things are not able to do it. But I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you started House of the Dragon and that you're excited for season 2. Renee says 47 months as a Nerdvenger, and yesterday was my 47th birthday. It has to be a sign, but I don't know how to read. Nice, man. Nerdvenge for life. Don't tell my wife about this. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate all that support. 47 months. Damn, dude. That's a long time. That's almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years, right? Next month? That's crazy, dude. Thanks for the love, brother. Thank you for the support. Rossi gifted a membership. Appreciate you. The Strange Sock says, would you say the first 3 episodes of The Boys, season 4, is the most political it's gotten? I personally think that, yes. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? And let's look at the poll up here. Wow, look at this. People are pretty positive on The Boys. So 36% say loved them. 36% say liked them. That's probably where I would be, is in the like them. Then you've got like 21% people saying meh, and 7% of people say they hated them. Interesting. Okay. That is interesting. So that's, let's see here. So that's 43 wait, what? No, it's higher than that. It's 73%. 73% of people are positive on the show that have voted on the poll. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Good for the show. Leon says blinkers kicked in hard. Oh, shit. Try to control yourself. If it gets too crazy, eat some cereal. Janes01 says, your beard, hair, and skin look immaculate in this lighting. Oh, damn. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate you. Hugh says, Daddy Josh, it's been a while, but I've been super busy. Just graduated college. I personally loved the episode. Please talk about the show every week. You talking about The Boys? Hugh, are you talking about The Boys? The fuck? Jesse Price says, it is Duel of the Fates for Ryan Soule. Yeah, I agree. And I actually love the idea that's being put forward that whatever way Ryan goes will be very, like it's going to be impactful to the human race. If he is like Homelander, then the human race is doomed. If he is actually heroic and good-natured, the human race is like has a chance. And I really like that. Like, that's a really clever thing. And like I said, like, that's so compelling and so interesting that, like, a lot of the other stuff should just fade away. And it should just be focusing on that, in my opinion. But Vandalf the Black says, Amazon seemed to have a trend of creating shows and just writing too much inside of a story that is just simple. It's like they get a short story and they put ChatGPT and say, go for it. Hashtag Amazon all along. Amazon seems to have a trend of creating shows and just writing too much inside of a story that is just simple. You know, It definitely seems like that's a thing, right? It definitely seems like that's a thing. I wonder how much of it is actually because, like, it can't be that they're setting out to like do destruction, right? But I think when it comes to the boys, they feel like the whole cast needs attention and needs stuff to do, and it has been a show where we've grown with a big group of people. It's a group show. It's an ensemble show. And you want to have all of those characters matter and to be impactful. But I think there are times where you need to focus or spotlight certain things over the others. And I think the show is just making that mistake. Now, Invincible, I think, made the mistake. This is my issue with Invincible. I think Invincible was too concerned with two main things. Number one, giving characters that didn't get shine in the comics more shine in the show. Mostly Debbie and Mark's girlfriend. They don't do shit in the comics. And Kirkman felt like he had to give them more to do, which I don't necessarily disagree with at face value. But the problem is you prioritize that over just continuing the good shit that you had before, and the real reason people are watching the show. Nobody's watching the show for Debbie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fine to make Debbie more compelling and more complete as a character. It's not fine to be like, oh, Debbie should have more screen time than Omni-Man in season 2. So I think, like, that's the first mistake. The second mistake is I really feel like they have this big, grand plan of how to do a lot of shit in the show differently than what they did in the comic. Like when he's fighting the Atlantean chick, some of the stuff with the building up of that council and the reveals and stuff. It's like they're so focused on enhancing what was in the comic that this season actually feels more like a season 1 than a season 2. Because it feels like it's trying so hard to set the groundwork for things in the future to be done a bit differently than they were in the comics. And perhaps even done better, which is great. But it all kind of mixes and is executed in a way that feels very bland and watered down. So, is this an Amazon thing? I don't know, but it did just happen kind of to 2 Amazon shows in a row. Maybe it's more of a... You know what it feels like a little bit to me is like burying the lead, right? It feels a little just like burying the lead. And maybe that's just a problem that happens when you take your eye off the ball. You know? But those are just my thoughts. And also those are the thoughts of Calvin Patel, who said, I feel exactly the same way in chat. Appreciate you, bro. Jennifer Armstrong, very generous with a $20 holla. Thank you so much. Says, happy Friday. Just wanted to show some love. Thanks for all that you do. Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's very generous. Thank you for the love. And then Rossi says, I've watched so many mid-Disney Plus shows, I forgot how it feels to watch a phenomenally written show. The tension is palpable in Hot D. Guess I need to get caught up on The Boys. I checked out after season 2. What? You checked out in season 2? Why? Why'd you check out, brother? Thought season 2 was kind of cool. I thought season 2 was kind of cool. You're still on season 1? Interesting. Just not interested in it. Interesting. Could Noir be someone from Gen V? Yeah, I guess he could. You know, that's something I forgot to mention was the whole Noir thing. I don't know if I love it, but it did make me laugh a lot. You know what I mean? Like, there were several times where, like, it's just so funny as compared to what you expect from Noir. Yeah, so they hire an actor to play Noir, and he, like, is talking all the time. Yeah. He's talking like all the time. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, it's working insofar as it's making me laugh. But I'm also like, I don't know, man. Like, are we just going to keep doing that? Like, that gag is getting a little bit old. I guess we'll see. Like, I'm so interested to see what the hell happens in the rest of this season. It's working. The narcoleptic joke made me laugh. Yeah, that was kind of funny. I think Noir is a clone of the OG, but he doesn't have the memories. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. What do you think, guys? And also, I need some more likes on the video. Appreciate you guys, but you didn't like the video. I don't think Trev liked the video, and I'm gonna time him out again if he didn't like it. Okay, should we watch some breakdowns? Should we watch a breakdown? What do you think? No? Yes? Yeah? Hell yeah? Oh, yeah, gambling. I forgot about gambling. Throw some gambling on for you guys. Why was the Cloudbot off in general? Wait a minute. It says YouTube active, but not active in Twitch. The fuck? So I can activate this in Twitch too? Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Now, did the Cloudbot fix the member goal or no? No, it doesn't look like it did. Man, that sucks. It's really hard to do a member goal when it's not actually working on the screen. That's tough. That's tough. All right. This one's only 28 minutes. By Think Story. You guys ever watch any of his videos? I used to watch his like Westworld stuff a lot and Raised by Wolves. I feel like we should watch
Baby
this.
hands.
I better use my strong hand.
Bashing your enemy with a menorah, and the worst sauna experience I've ever had. The Boys is finally back.
This is the best day of my life.
Okay, calm down, Todd. Yes, clean out your pink eye.
Oops.
We have the first 3 episodes of The Boys, and we have a lot to discuss, from its connection to Gen V, who the new member of the Seven will be, and the most exciting trial since Tyrion Lannister.
I demand a trial by combat.
Keep in mind there will be
yeah.
no comic spoilers, but I will be going over some of the images from the trailers to sleuth out where the story could be headed. But before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe. Firecracker is just killing me in views right now, and your support is really welcomed.
Now, who wants their balls crushed?
It's
no.
finally here, election night, and I haven't been as shocked at an election since 2016. You gotta love the song choice of God Save the Queen by English punk rock band The Sex Pistols as soon-to-be Vice President Newman greets the crowd. Of particular note, the lyric, "She ain't no human being." The last time we saw Victoria Newman was in Gen V after acquiring a virus from Dr. Edison Cardosa that can kill soups. But why would a soup want a virus that kills soups? Well, we know that Victoria's main...
that is interesting. As somebody that didn't watch Gen V, I feel like I was fine. Like, I don't know. Like, did you guys feel like that? Or did you feel lost at all? I feel like I was completely fine. And even this stuff with the virus, I didn't even know it came from Gen V. And it doesn't affect it at all for me because Homelander just says it kind of offhandedly, or no, Butcher does, and he's like, "Yeah, it's not ready to kill him yet," and I'm like, "Boom, that's fine, I'm good." Yeah, I don't think you need to watch Gen V at all.
Priority is the safety of her daughter Zoe, and who happens to be the biggest threat to her? None other than our milk-loving friend, Homelander.
Who wants a creamy, delicious milkshake?
Remember that the virus isn't 100% strong enough to take...
I mean, who doesn't want a creamy, delicious milkshake? That sounds great. I would want one right now.
down Homelander, so Victoria will have to hire her own scientist and refine it herself. In the season trailer, we'll see the boys uncover a house in the countryside with a hidden lab that contains these pus-filled appendages, the same symptoms we saw on the students given the virus in Gen V. Notice how Starlight has a Canadian passport here. Is this lab potentially in Canada, or do they have to flee there?
Aw, man, Canada again.
We'll also see the boys fight off bulletproof chickens and flying sheep, so I'm wondering if this is all part of this farm/lab compound where animals are given Compound V and tested on to see if the virus will work. And while we're on the topic of this virus and Gen V, let's talk about
a creamy what? You know what? A creamy, delicious milkshake. Goddamn.
Sam and Kate, who we know will make an appearance this season. The only mention of them we get in the first 3 episodes comes from this Chiron in episode 3, stating Guardians of Godolkin Sam and Kate to join the 7 members at V52.
Oh my god, dude! Because I didn't watch Gen V, I had no idea what that meant, and the little writing on the screen, show ruined!
Expo. In a tweet from the official boys account, we learn that the first episode of season 4 takes place about a month after the Gen V finale. Still no word on the fate of Marie, Jordan, Emma, and Andre, who were last seen locked up after being framed for the massacre at Godolkin. It's also unclear how the writers will navigate around the tragic death of actor Chance Perdomo. I do know that they're not replacing his character with a new actor. The boys are on a mission to put an end to Victoria and have devised a plan to switch her eye solution with acid. Mother's Milk, aka Marvin, will later tell Grace Mallory and President Singer that he had good
Oh shit, so Singer's the president, okay.
intel this idea would work. However, when Huey, in an act of desperation, throws acid on her, it has no effect.
Pathetic.
I also love how the art direction conveys a sense of what's going on in this world. Check out these posters of Homelander with graffiti saying "Killing America" and one where Homelander has a Hitler stash. Bonus points if you caught that the name of the catering company is called Mr. Marathon, named after the original speedster of the 7 who was replaced by A-Train.
Ooh.
Marathon used to sneak college girls in this way.
Butcher, meanwhile, is looking like complete shit. At
Yeah.
the end of season 3, Butcher was diagnosed with a brain condition, a result of his repeated use of Compound V24. With only about 6 months to live, the question for Butcher this season is if he can repair his relationship with Ryan before it's too late.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, the guy has a terrible track record when it comes to his friends and family. And to help him through this is the ghost of his ex-wife Becca, who it's revealed is this imaginary person Butcher's been talking to throughout these first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Don't you start. I'm fine. Right.
A common
Right. Yeah, no, he doesn't seem fine. He's falling apart, so is Homelander. Pretty cool.
theme this season is mortality, as both Butcher and Homelander struggle with getting older and death. In fact, what person doesn't keep a jar of gray pubes? Notice that he keeps this jar.
Also, like, not to get too personal, but like gray pubes, is that a thing? I gotta be honest, I haven't experienced that. Gray pubes, guys? Chat, is that a thing? You will? Oh shit! Some of you guys actually got to deal with it? Interesting. I'm 38 and I ain't there yet, bro. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, I haven't experienced that though. That's probably because I bikini wax like my whole bottom half of my body, so.
alongside mementos of the past, like this photo of Stormfront and Milk Bottle. In fact, his entire apartment is filled with sculptures and paintings of the past. Soon Homelander will become a relic of the past, which is probably why he is so obsessed with Ryan being his legacy. For the first 3 seasons, humans and supes have lived in relative peace, but if these first episodes are any indication, there's a fascist coup forming that will throw the very structure of America and potentially the world upside down. Homelander sees humans as mere toys.
They're only humans and toys for our amusement. They're only human, Ryan. Toys.
This isn't new from Homelander. He's held anti-human sentiment for several seasons.
Vicky, I'm glad you chose your own kind.
And now it's reached a board.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, though, because when he has the moment in the mirror with all the broken pieces of himself, which was great visually, really cool. I like that sort of visual metaphor. There is a side of him, though, that actually wants him to be human, that loves his son. So there is that side of him, which makes the character compelling. If he was just a total psychopath, I don't think it would be as compelling. But there is like a little bit of like something in there. You know what I mean?
Boiling point.
Humans are nothing. They're less than nothing, and yet they control everything.
But when Homelander brings into the Seven Sisters Sage, the world's smartest person, he finally has a roadmap on how to take over.
Yeah.
In episode 3, we'll see Homelander make a deal with Victoria Newman. In exchange for taking care of President Singer, Victoria, when she becomes president, will enact a series of pro-Soup reforms, setting the stage for Soup supremacy. These reforms include disbanding the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, which holds Soups accountable for crimes, condemning the Defund the Soups movement, removing all books and teachers who teach critical soup theory, a comment on the current critical race theory discourse, have a hero in every town with legal authority over the police, insanely scary, and when she finally...
Yeah, having authority over the police, that's pretty wild, but I mean, it's par for the course. That you can see what they're doing.
Gets into the Oval Office, Victoria will have to reveal herself as a Soup. Now, Victoria says no to this deal, and Homelander says she should be proud of who she is. Does she want her daughter to be ashamed of who she is?
So what kind of example are you setting by staying in the closet?
I know I'll be corrected in the comments, but I don't believe Victoria has ever stated why she really wants to be president. Obviously, there's some bullshit answers like make a better world for her daughter, but I think her motives are much more hidden and may lead to a big reveal later in the season.
That could be cool. Yeah, because even when he was asking her that, it's true that, like, it seems so surface level. So why does she want it? There's got to be something more to it for sure.
I also want to talk a bit about Zoe. Well, we finally get to see what her power is after Victoria injected her with Compound V in Season 3. I think it's really cute, this relationship she has with Ryan.
Does nobody come back pregnant?
Okay, not that cute. But it just goes to show that even though they have insane powers, they're still just kids. When the two grab some cookies and cream ice cream, they're interrupted by Butcher. And maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but notice Zoe texting someone as she leaves. Moments later, Homelander arrives. We'll also see Zoe on her phone at the ice rink where Homelander also is. Is this just a girl busy on her phone, or is there some sort of communication going on here that Zoe is hiding from her mom? Homelander has a nice Girls Get It Done reference.
Girls get it done in the White House.
A callback to Season 2's Girls Get It Done initiative, a poster of which can also be seen in the Gen V frat house. Homelander confronts Butcher here, but there's no sense in killing him. For one, Homelander is currently on trial for the death of a Starlight supporter at the end of Season 3, so he doesn't need that heat. And second, he can tell that Butcher only has 6 months to live. He will definitely not allow Ryan to go back with Butcher. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Kimiko's mission to replace Victoria's eye droplets fails when Zoe catches on to them. And poor Kimiko's arm gets completely gnawed off, growing into this weird baby arm.
Yeah, that part was funny. They definitely made Zoe's powers look absolutely horrifying, which I think is meant to make you feel, you know, sort of like shame for her mom and angry at her mom. And they even say in the show, like, you turned her into a monster and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, it's meant to make that have even more of an impact, right?
To escape, they have to fling themselves out of the hotel window where Frenchie is miraculously caught by Starlight. Remember that at the end of season 3, Starlight learned that she could levitate using her powers, and this is a skill she'll develop over the course of the next few episodes. Now, Victoria is not too pleased about Huey and his mission to melt her eyes. It's sad to see these two grow distant considering how close they were when they worked at the Bureau for Superhuman Affairs. In fact, they were so close that Victoria says she almost told Huey that she was a suit. Even after Butcher attempts putting a bullet through her skull, she still believes the best course of action for them is a truce. The boys won't divulge.
You know, the one thing that I was kind of confused about with this was like, dude, they're showing her as so powerful, meaning, I mean, she takes a point blank shot, she takes the acid. What is she afraid of anybody for? What is she afraid of Homelander? Or is Homelander really that strong? That, like, he's seemingly so strong that even a person like her should be afraid of it. Or afraid of him. Like, was that established before? Or was this the first time where we see her that strong? He's that strong. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know if it's, like, explained explicitly. Like, when I saw that, I was like, what's she afraid of anybody for? And do you think she could kill Homelander by popping his head? Bro, she ate that bullet. Yeah. You don't think she could pop Homelander's head? Because, like, his tissue is too powerful? Interesting.
That she's a soup in exchange for her not popping their heads. I don't know, seems like a pretty good deal to me. Newman and Singer end up winning the election. However, there are at least 2 months until Singer is officially sworn in as president. Mother's Milk is chewed out for the mission gone wrong, and I love this plaque in honor of Susan Rayner, who you might remember as the former deputy director of the CIA who had her head blown off by Victoria in season 2. To our surprise, it's none other than Singer that was behind this mission. He knows he'll likely be killed by Victoria and wanted to get the jump.
A soup is one heartbeat away from the presidency. My heartbeat.
Meanwhile, Butcher meets with an old friend and newcomer to the show, Joe Kessler, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Already, my red flags are going off. He says he needs someone like Butcher on his side before the soups start rounding us up and putting us in camps. So does he want to maintain the status quo, or is he the type of guy who wants soups gone for good? I can't help but think he's hiding something much more nefarious. Mother's Milk goes on his own journey in search of Todd, his ex-wife's lover and Homelander superfan. He's actually the guy who first starts applauding after Homelander lasered the Starlight supporter at the end of season 3.
Yeah! Yeah!
Normally, Marvin...
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, so, like, here, I think that he looks different in the new season. I think he's lost some weight. I think the mustache is different. That's what I think is going on.
Wouldn't give a shit about where Todd is, but his daughter Janine, who adores him, has been acting out since Marvin's wife kicked him out. Yeah, it's a bit complex, so Marvin's doing this favor for his daughter. Unfortunately, Todd is all part of an elaborate plan by Sister Sage to frame their deaths on Starlight supporters. When
You know, it's this whole thing with, like, the framing and all that, it's really interesting, man, because I think it could technically go both ways within, like, the political sphere, and I think it's compelling. I think it's interesting. I also kind of see it coming a mile away. Like, when they beat them to death, I'm like, okay, well, they're going to frame somebody. And then you get into the thing outside of the courthouse, and you're like, okay, they're going to do this. But it's still cool. Like, I like the way that it was put together.
Homelander enlists Sister Sage, she has this theory.
The people will tear it apart themselves. Then you get to swoop in. Be the one saving it.
She is molding Homelander to be the savior of the people, not unlike Caesar. But to do so, she must pit these two rival factions against each other, the Starlighters and Home Teamers. And if it isn't blatantly obvious, this is a satire on the current left versus right politics going on in the United States today. Homelander orders Black Noir, the Deep, and A-Train to kill these innocent men, and for A-Train to dispose the bodies during this clash of protesters, pitting the Starlighters as violent enemies. Sister Sage knows the importance of how fake news can elicit emotional responses from the people, which is why she gets Homelander to take on a new member of the Seven, Firecracker. She acts as a popular political tool for Homelander's agenda, spreading misinformation and rallying.
See, and that's where I wish it stayed, because I think that makes enough sense. Like, it makes enough sense that she's useful for propaganda, for igniting the base, all that.
Disenfranchised groups to his cause. It's so effective that we'll even see a guy come into Starlight Home and hold it at gunpoint, asking where the captured children are. A nod to the 2016 Pizzagate conspiracy that claimed New York police discovered a Democrat-run child sex trafficking ring underneath a pizza shop. Sister Sage learns that Firecracker sells to the people the most important thing of all, and it's not truth, but purpose. Although Sister Sage and Firecracker may not be the strongest soups out there, their addition to the Seven is all part of a grand scheme to pave the way for Homelander in soup superiority. And while Homelander steers his way to greater power, he must also face his own inner demons. In episode 1, we'll see him haunted by visions of the past, including some images we've never seen before, including what appears to be young Homelander in a red room. At the end of episode 3, when Homelander lashes out at his son for seeing Butcher behind his back, he throws a bust of himself at a mirror which smashes, a metaphor for how fractured he is internally.
Yeah,
These alter egos of his taunt him, saying that he'll never have love, not even from his own son. But there is a solution.
You're never gonna be your true self until you transcend your humanity. What do I do?
And in order to do this, he must go back to the start.
John, you need to go home.
But where is home? A series of flashbacks hint this alter ego is referring to the lab where John, aka Homelander, was raised, a lab where he underwent horrific experiments to test his strength. In Season 3, we find out it was these alternate personalities that helped him get through the quote-unquote bad room.
When we were kids, alone in the bedroom, I got us through it.
Which is probably...
Interesting. Okay, so it's all like a coping mechanism with the trauma back then. And he has to go back there to maybe like revisit it and understand. I don't know. It's really crazy. You know, Anthony Starr, again, he just does such a good job as this character. And it's been crazy because like every season, it just seems like he's losing his fucking mind, like just more and more deranged and falling apart. And it's fantastic every single time.
What this red door leads to. In the final flashes of episode 3, we'll see this door, a woman leading him there, broken surgical supplies, likely broken from trying to cut his skin, and even a welding machine. Perhaps by uncovering the horrors done to him by humans, it will allow him to shed any sort of emotion holding him back from becoming the destroyer of humanity. A while ago, I briefly mentioned...
Now, if there's any comic book readers in the chat, help me out here, but I'm pretty sure there is a moment in the comics where Homelander truly snaps. Right, where he like completely snaps and kind of tries to take over the world, right? And so it kind of seems like they're building up towards that, yeah? Interesting.
Black Noir. How is he here if he was killed by Homelander? Remember, Homelander killed Noir for withholding information about who his father really was, and that, of course, was Soldier Boy. Well, good old Vaught has once again covered this whole thing up and switched him with an actor who can talk. More funny news stickers, this one saying that Brett Favre justifies diverting food bank funds because of childhood obesity. No doubt a jab at the former NFLer's scandal in which he allegedly used $6 million in welfare funds to build a volleyball stadium. The first 3 episodes also introduce us to a load of new soups, such as Webweaver, who was just discharged from a global wellness center in Malibu.
Because even heroes need saving sometimes.
Ashley even has a PowerPoint of potential new members of the Seven, including Talon, who is 1/8 Navajo, has super long nails, and even had a role in everyone's favorite hole lover, Tech Knight's Heat of the Night. There's also Hyperion, voted #1 runner-up after Homelander for sexiest soup alive, Dognaught, who can control dogs, hates fireworks, and of course is from Portland. He went to the prestigious Julius Rome's obedience school, a take on Caesar Milan. And of course Wrangler, who protects the border.
Isn't he,
Texas nutjob. The San Antonio office had to cover up those migrant murders.
I kind of like him.
We'll later see in the news chyron on NNC, which is just CNN backwards, that he's on trial for domestic abuse, but his attorneys claim that his girlfriend's fractured vertebrae wasn't his fault, it's just a congenital defect. I also love this very brief line where Ashley thanks Homelander for saving her at Godolkin.
After that debacle at Godolkin, Thank you again for saving my life.
The Deep is on his own path this season after the divorce with his wife, who went on a book tour exposing some of his biggest secrets. We'll see him on Haley Mills.
One of my favorite parts was when she said, like, you're on, what was it, PETA's bestiality watch list or something. I was like, what the fuck?
Talk show, who you might remember interviewed Murray Moreau at Godolphin. The Deep keeps his octopus lover Ambrosius, voiced by Tilda Swinton, hidden away in his closet after it was revealed he had intimate relations with her. And things get worse for the Deep as he is constantly berated by Ashley and loses his job as head of crime analytics. But what's really interesting is his new relationship with Sister Sage. It's her that gives him the strength to stand up to Ashley, and in episode 3 they'll do the dirty. We'll see this device laid out on the counter in Sister Sage's apartment. I did some digging, and this is a surgical device called an orbitoclast used for lobotomies. It seems that Sage has given herself a lobotomy, making her dumber, which would explain why she wants to watch Transformers 2 and vibes with the Deep. The big question is,
wait, what? That's crazy. What the hell? I missed that completely. That's crazy. Oh man, what?
if this is permanent or something Sister Sage does to let off some steam. Remember that she does have moderate regenerative powers, so this is likely temporary.
Dude, that's crazy. What if she just like keeps lobotomizing herself and then she like keeps regenerating and getting smart again? What? That's pretty cool.
For her to unwind after a tough day at work. I could see a world where this is permanent and done to kind of absolve herself of the evils Homelander is making her do, but I just don't get that vibe at all. Let me know what you think in the comments. When Sister Sage is brought up as a potential member of the Seven, it's A-Train who immediately shuts it down. The two worked together when they were teens on Teen Kicks, a group of young soups managed by Vought, and something definitely went down between the two.
She's the world's smartest person. She's not smart enough to know when to shut her mouth.
We haven't seen any of Teen Kicks on the show thus far, but Mesmer did wear a Teen Kicks shirt way back in season 1.
But there's only one person who can see inside their hearts and read their minds.
This man is the rapist.
It's also kind of ironic that Homelander almost makes the Deep blow A-Train when this is the very room the Deep sexually assaulted Starlight in season 1.
True.
Firecracker will later blow this back in Starlight's face when it's revealed the two go way back.
Without blowing some dude to get there.
Firecracker has a deep personal hatred for Starlight after what she did to her on the pageant circuit as kids. Starlight spread hateful rumors about her, resulting in her quitting the pageant
Yeah, it was just, I just thought it was over. I thought it was too much.
Scene, and from that date forth, she vowed to show the world what a conniving bitch Starlight really is. Now, there's no confirmation for this, but I like to think this girl here is young Firecracker, or as she used to be called in the circuit, Sparkler. Now, Starlight apologizes and says she's changed, but Firecracker fires back.
People don't change.
I think it's this belief that will come back and bite Firecracker in the ass, but we'll just have to wait and see. Once again, the boys just knocks it out of the park with these hilarious news ads, like supporting Homelander's defense fund, which uses the same font and logos as Trump's. A-Train even says you can get a free token that jab at Trump's own meme coins like Trump Coin and Baby Trump. Speaking of cryptocurrency, there's Vought Coin Arena, which is playing A Very Super Christmas, featuring none other than Queen Maeve and Jesus. But we'll get to that a bit later. Huey's journey centers around his relationship with his mother after his father has
Huey's journey is boring as fuck.
a stroke. His long-lost mother returns, and he has to reconcile his feelings of abandonment with the truth about what really happened. According to Huey's mother, she suffered from severe depression and could not carry on with her current life, so the choice for her was basically to abandon him or kill herself. To make matters a little more interesting is that she has power of attorney over Huey's dad, so I'm curious if she'll do anything Huey won't agree with. Butcher has a secret meeting with Victoria Newman at an abandoned Vought video. Check out the boarded up Church of the Collective reading room next door. Kind of funny since it was Victoria who popped the head of the Collective's leader at the end of season 2.
I like
this
that
place
guy.
has all sorts of cool Easter eggs like the cutout for Polarity Static Heat 3, posters for Home for Kwanzaa, and Big Crazy Love 2, which is available on VOT Plus starring Termite. There's the Soldier Boy story and an hour-long Halloween special starring members of the Seven. Butcher wants to work with Victoria in order to save Ryan, but if she's going to work with him, she needs a gesture of good faith. She wants all the info they have on her time at Red River, the foster home for Supes she went to before being adopted by Stanley Edgar. This also happens to be the same place Marie Moreau was raised until she got into Godolkin. Butcher will end up not giving over these files after being confronted by the ghost of his ex-wife. She encourages him to find another way to save Ryan, but he fears the man she married who could do this job is long dead.
That man died a long time ago. It's too late.
At the end of season 3, Starlight threw her costume in the garbage chute to focus on being Annie January, her real name. She wanted to put Starlight behind her, but this is easier said than done, and it looks as though if she'll want to take on Homelander, she'll have to rally her supporters behind Starlight.
Cheesy as it sounds, people need a symbol.
Working at Starlight Home is Frenchie's friend Colin, who he met through Narcotics Anonymous. To be honest, I was a little taken aback by Frenchie's new love interest. Not because he's a man, it's actually been hinted that Frenchie is bisexual in the past, but what this means for his relationship with Kimiko. At the end of season 3, I thought Kimiko and Frenchie were in a good place, but it looks like Kimiko is totally cool with Frenchie going after Colin's baguette. However, there's one major setback. In Frenchie's murderous past, he killed Colin's family.
Which again just feels like overwriting. Like, what do you like? Oh, what could be really compelling to make this tense? Oh, what if Frenchie killed his family? You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels like that. It's the same thing with Starlight, where it's like, it feels like we're really trying to make this interesting instead of just going with what is working and is interesting. It doesn't kill the show for me, but it's just, I feel like parts of it are overwritten.
So we see Frenchie popping pills to help reconcile his love for Colin and the fact he murdered his family. The past also comes to haunt Kimiko. Kimiko learns of a Shining Light terror cell in the city, the same group that killed her parents and kidnapped her and her brother. She and Frenchie will infiltrate one of their drug warehouses where we see all these Jitterbean containers, a store of which can be found on Godolkin campus. But during this raid, Kimiko stumbles upon someone she knows. They must have not had the greatest of relationships because she continues to stab Kimiko. Even so, it's Kimiko who tells Frenchie to put down his gun, letting her escape.
I loved this part with the violence becoming like bubbles and rubber duckies. That was really cool, dude. Because Frenchie takes like PCP or LSD or something. And so he's hallucinating. And I really enjoyed like doing the violence that the boys does, but then making it like the bubbles or the ducks. Like, that was cool.
So who is she? The scar across her face suggests she might have been a fellow trafficked child forced to fight with Kimiko in these knife fights. My guess is that it's Kimiko who gave her that scar. In the credits, she's billed as Tala and will appear in at least 2 more episodes. Here's Sister Sage reading a book by showrunner Eric Kripke. It's at a planet Vought that Todd and 2 other home teamers are killed by A-Train Black Noir and the Deep. Based on Planet Hollywood, Planet Vought is where Homelander took Ryan a few seasons ago. There are some cool autographed posters from your favorite Supes like Mindstorm, who met a tragic end at the hands of Soldier Boy last season. Oh yeah, there's also Funko Pops, which I'm sure heavy spoilers will add to his collection. Homelander is found not guilty, and it's Sister Sage who incites a riot by throwing a delicious Jitterbean coffee in a home teamer's face. The chaos allows A-Train to drop the dead bodies, and it's not long before Cameron Coleman and the Vought News propaganda machine, based off Fox News, gets to work blaming it on those no-good liberal Starlighters. Cameron has a few cameos in these first 3 episodes, but my favorite is him tied up by Ashley.
Me?
One of the big questions I have is if Butcher will find a way to cure his illness. At the end of episode 1, we'll see this worm-like thing going through his veins near his skull. Whatever he has doesn't seem natural. Then again, he got this way by taking something completely unnatural. In a world where all sorts of weird Supes exist, I would not be surprised if there is a way to cure him.
Yeah, I think they're going to cure him, and I think the way they're going to cure him is by making him in a permanent soup. Meaning they'll have to do something to like make him actually a Supe forever. And then maybe then they can pull that thing out or destroy it that way. Because we know, I think it's heading towards an inevitable Butcher versus Homelander, Scorched Earth final dance, which they even hint at in these first 3 episodes. And we know that next season is going to be that. And in fact, unless I'm mistaken, I think either the official Boys account or maybe it was Eric Kripke shared a redacted version of the last scene in the script. And I'm pretty sure it has Homelander and Butcher in it. So, yeah, something like that I think is going to have to happen.
Back to A-Train, well, his life has fallen apart. He's estranged from his brother, is ordered to senselessly kill innocents, and worst of all, begrudgingly works on a white savior movie starring Will Ferrell called Training A-Train, a fictitious biopic about his life. Ferrell plays Coach Brink, named after former Dean of Godolphin Richard Brinkerhoff, who taught A-Train.
A-Train's the most driven kid I've taught since Queen Maeve.
Gotta love famous director Adam Bork at the helm, who of course directed Dawn of the Seven and often teaches at Godolphin. It's A-Train's disillusionment with Vought and the Seven that motivates him to sneak into crime analytics and gather CCTV footage showing that 2 men who were framed for the riot murders were in fact innocent. I think A-Train's arc this season is one of the more interesting of all our characters.
I agree.
He has to prove that he's not a fake and can actually be
I agree. I think what they're doing with A-Train is one of the coolest things they're doing, for sure.
Real hero.
Your saves were never real. You never actually saved anyone.
Fun fact, I live 1 minute away from where they shot this, so I went out and took some photos of what it actually looks like. Mother's Milk ends up meeting with A-Train in the hopes he could turn on Vought, but this doesn't go over well. Poor Ryan is also pulled in every which direction this season, along with going through the awkwardness of puberty.
Although Ryan could spew goo if he wanted to.
On the one hand, there's Homelander who wants to turn him into a spitting image of him.
We have to share everything with each other until we almost merge into one.
Homelander is devoid of almost any empathy, and when Ryan's solo save goes horribly awry and he ends up killing a man, Homelander can't even tell that this death was weighing on him. On the other hand, there's Butcher, the man who once shunned Ryan and said some truly terrible things.
Well, maybe I don't want to look at you. After what you've done to my Becca, did you ever think about that?
Butcher is obviously the better father figure, but Ryan can't just abandon his dad, so he's really caught between a rock and a hard place. The set design and props at TruthCon, where the boys track down Sister Sage, is filled with all sorts of hilarious conspiracy theories such as Starlight is a lizard person, but also some that are actually true, like Soldier Boy held captive by CIA, and Soldier Boy and Liberty's secret lovers.
Wow. This other soup, Liberty. Man, was she a firecracker.
Unfortunately, a trap is set for the boys, and our gang has to fight Firecracker and her simp, Splinter, in one of the wildest action scenes so far. Splinter can multiply himself over and over, but his weak
shit was ridiculous, dude. Definitely a lot of hang and dong. And then they did the weirdest fucking, human centipede scene I've ever... Oh, God.
Is that if his prime dies, the original, so do all the others.
And if that's the case, then why wouldn't you keep the prime somewhere very far away?
No, not Prime, no!
It's Butcher who comes and saves the day at this all-out brawl at a marvelous Mrs. Maisel-themed bat mitzvah, which you can also watch on Prime. No, they don't pay me. Firecracker manages to get away, and a few days later, she and Sister Sage are introduced as new members of the Seven. But at this rally, you'll notice that there are only 6 members, and Homelander asks the audience who they think should be the final member. It'll be interesting to see if this new member will be someone we know or someone completely new.
Right, exactly,
If I had
like
to
the
place
Invincible
a bet, the
lady.
person who would best help Homelander and Sister Sage's plan would be Kate and her power of persuasion. They could cause a lot of damage with that.
True.
In the trailer, we also see Butcher fighting Ezekiel, the former Capes for Christ organizer, who I doubt is Seven material. Another fun news chyron from NNC, stating an audit of Homelander's legal defense funds reveals nearly all his donations went to portraits of him. This is yet another jab at Trump, whose charity paid $20,000 for a portrait of him. Butcher's new plan to save Ryan includes drugging him, and thank God it doesn't pan out that way. After convincing him to come visit by hacking into his tournament of...
Which, again, this scene was stupid, dude. I'm sorry. I like gaming, but this scene felt like fucking boomers that don't understand gaming at all, that are like, oh man, I've heard the kids talk to their friends on video games. What if we had Butcher talk to Ryan on the video game? And it felt like this just huge boomer as shit. Like how would he know? Bro, how would he know what his gamer tag is? How would he get the game? Where is he playing this fucking game? How would he get into a match with Ryan? I mean, yes, he sends him a battle request, but again, like he would need to know what his gamer tag is. I don't know. I thought it was whack.
Heroes video game, Butcher sees how conflicted Ryan is about staying with Homelander. Butcher doesn't really need to use these drugs at all. The two have a really heartfelt...
That's like when Bob Iger came out and was like, oh, dude, kids fucking play video games. That's crazy. We better start getting into that. And you're just like, yeah, bro.
An emotional talk, which is something Homelander could never do. And Butcher's non-action here pisses off Kessler, who needs to know what to do about this boy.
Either we figure out how to train him, or we figure out how to kill him.
It seems Victoria has been purposely left out of any meetings with the president-elect. She's spent countless hours on the Superhero Management Act only to find that Singer is taking a hardline stance against Supes. No longer will they be allowed in the military, policing, or government positions.
Supes are entertainers, period. End of story.
This puts Victoria in a difficult position. Either she sides with the humans who want to roll back Supe rights, or she sides with Homelander who wants to take over humanity. She'll have a chat with Homelander at the ice show rehearsal where Huey overhears this whole thing go down. When Homelander catches him, it turns to utter chaos, with Jesus doing the most damage, running over people's fingers and trampling over others with his skates. This whole debacle is covered up by Vought as being a tragic fire. Huey is actually saved by A-Train here, once again
super interesting, man. The A-Train stuff is good.
One of becoming a real hero. Episodes 1 to 3 leave us with many interesting threads. We have Homelander digging into his past by going home, what Victoria will do if she becomes president, a new member of the Seven, Butcher's health, Ryan's future, and a whole lot more. Now this is where I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen next? Leave your
good video, think story. You guys check him out. I like his videos, man. I really enjoyed a lot of his coverage of like Westworld and Raised by Wolves. I thought it was pretty good. So that's pretty cool shit to me, chat. What do you think?
Thoughts and theories in the comments below.
Good breakdown. Good breakdown. All right, let me see here. Hey, David Collin, thanks for gifting 5 memberships, brother. Really appreciate that. Did this thing respond to that? Is this thing changing at all? That's so stupid. Where's Ryan and Adam at? They're supposed to be at my tech support and help me out with this kind of stuff. Jeez. But thanks for the 5 gifted, brother. Never Lose Your Nerd says, haven't seen the new season. I work nights, so I will this weekend. I like The Boys, but I don't love it like most. It's overrated to me and not on hot D level. I charge $50 an hour. Dude, I will pay you in a new meme coin that I'm designing. But let's talk. Let's talk about it later. You know, hit me up and give me all help. And don't you dare say just get OBS Studio. That's not what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think The Boys is on hot D level? Your second coin? No, see, the first coin it's not actually on chain. And it's like a stable like reward coin. This one's going to be real, and you're not going to want to miss this opportunity. Yeah, I feel like we've always thought that. I mean, I don't know that I've ever held it in the place that I hold like House the Dragon, but The Boys has been a really big part of the pop culture conversation over the last couple of years, and it's certainly the case that it's making a big impact on this genre and on the fans. And we've talked about it before, but it feels like Marvel's kind of changing a bit and adapting to that style, going after a little bit more mature audience. And The Boys has made a big impact. It also has a spin-off that's successful. I think they're doing more of Gen V, correct? I'm pretty sure. So they're doing more of Gen V. It's successful. They had that animated thing. I don't know how well that did, but The Boys is like out of a lot of different IPs and a lot of different shows. Like you look at The Witcher on Netflix. I thought the first season of The Witcher was really cool. Its narrative structure, I think, was a little bit of a barrier for people, but ultimately really fun. And then that thing totally falls apart. There's a lot of other IP that start and then just kind of fall apart. The Boys has held very strong. It seems like it's going to get an actual ending too, because they're going to end it in season 5, and they are doing work to get to a place where it's compelling to end there. So I think The Boys is like a really important show. It's a very big show. But no, it's not House of the Dragon. Like House of the Dragon is on a completely different level, which we're going to get into really, really soon. I want to catch up on these chats. I want to do the drawing for the gift card, and then we'll change the title, we'll change the thumbnail, and we'll get into House of the Dragon, baby. So I'm excited for that. Rossi says, you wouldn't know if you had grays anyway with that stomach. What the fuck? Super Saiyan Fajita, appreciate the 10, brother. Says, yo, I don't chat much, but I'm a long-time watcher. I've been fighting thyroid cancer for a few months, and I just want to thank you for keeping me entertained throughout this time. Much love, bro. Well, my heart goes out to you, brother. I'm glad to be able to provide at least some level of a reprieve. And, man, just try to stay as positive as you can. That positive energy is important, and I wish you well, man. I had my cousin had a big battle with cancer just within the last couple of years, and it was absolute hell for him. He's on the other side of it now and living life and doing some really cool shit. So you can absolutely get there, brother. 100%. Baba says, can we start doing The Boys watch parties? Nah, man, sorry. I don't really like doing watch parties. I don't think it's the type of content that I'm good at doing. I'd rather just like talk about it afterwards or break it down or, something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right freaking back. I'm actually going to get a drink. I'll be right back. Woo! Deadpool 3 tracking for 200 million? Say what? Say what? That's pretty wild. That's good. I do finally have, hopefully, I'm going to get a spot. And by the way, here's what we're going to have. We're going to have a nice Coca-Cola there. These Daredevil ones are very rare. They're the hardest ones to get, but I happen to have a bunch. That's nice. That's nice and refreshing. Josh didn't wash his hands. All I did was go get a drink. Holy crap. What have I got to wash my hands for? Anyway. And that's domestic. So if it's international, it'll be like 400 million. Yeah, that'll be crazy. I mean, that's going to be a really big movie for sure. And I'm really excited about it. Let's see here. What the hell? Interesting. Den of Pepsi? Hell nah. That's going to be a record for the highest R-rated release, right? Or opening? Which was originally Deadpool at 132 million. That'll be huge. I wonder if it'll beat yeah, I wonder if it'll beat Spider-Man No Way Home's opening, because wasn't that like 400 million or something like that? Pepsi will always win? Hell nah. Dude, you know what Pepsi tastes like to me? It tastes like flat Coca-Cola. That's what it tastes like to me. It's flat. And also, doesn't Coca-Cola outsell Disney like 4-1? I am pretty sure that's an actual statistic. I'm pretty sure that's an actual statistic. Okay. You know what? You know what? This might actually be accurate. I'm gonna check something here. I gotta check something here. Okay, so let's get that pulled up. Let me get the Twitch thing pulled up, because I want to do the $200 GameStop gift card drawing right now. And then I want to jump into House of the Dragon. So give me 1 second here. Creator dashboard. I think it's in analytics. Stream manager. No. Engagement, payment, earnings. I know. Why is it always so hard for me to find this? Is it in settings? Monetization, maybe? Community? No. I want to... overview. Clips, achievement, researchers. Subscriptions. Community. Dude, why is it always so hard to find this shit? Home? It's gotta be in analytics. And what do I do? What does it do if I export that data? Ugh, Jesus. Earnings. Hey, here we go. Okay, it's randomly in earnings. Back. View details. Oh, Jesus, dude. There's got to be a way to get this shit. Oh my God. How do you export it? Like, here it is here. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. Awesome. Community. No. How do I find these members? Somebody help me. It's not in analytics, right? Stream summary? No. It's not in viewers, although it could be in engagement. Nope. It's not that. Content? Oh, jeez, chat. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, chat. I don't know, chat. I don't even know how to do this shit. Where's even my chat at now? Where's the chat at? The fuck? What the hell? close all those. Is it here? What the hell? Close all those, dude. I had like 4 different things open here. So it's not here. It's not there. Okay, I found you guys. Hey, I found you guys again. I found you. Don't worry, I found you guys again. Okay, listen. I think this number might be accurate. And I think what's happening, like we keep, like this membership goal right here, okay? It says 1228. So 1,094 plus 103 is, yeah, I think it's close to accurate. Okay, and I think what's happening is when people do a gifted membership or when they do a Prime membership, it's possible that what's happening is as the members are going away, so if somebody gets like a 30-day free membership, maybe it starts from the day they get it to 30 days from then. So like it could be the case that like members are going away as we're adding to them. That seems to be what it is. But there's 1,094 members on YouTube. And then there's 100 some members on Twitch. And so it's actually not, it might not be off actually. Bro, this is crazy. I have found this many times before. I don't understand why I can't find it right now. So I don't think it's in analytics, although it should be in analytics. It's kind of stupid that it's not in analytics. Let's see here. Achievements. Research. What the hell is that for? That's stupid. So it's not that. It's not here either, although that is all of my subscribers. Download my subscriber list. I found it on my own. Okay, and then let me refresh this. Because now we have total members. And does it not... see your members. Okay, it does accurately do that. Okay, cool. All right, we're almost there. We're going to draw for the $200 GameStop gift card. Sorry, I'm so stupid at this stuff. New spreadsheet. Okay, file, import, subscriber list, what the hell? Where did it go? Okay, there we go. All right, and then what the hell? Oh yeah. Okay. And then we'll file import. Members. Append Okay, so let's take a peek down here. 12:14. What does this thing say? 12:28. So this thing's not accurate either way, dude. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Because this subscription thing is not working, like, at all. And how do I make this screen not crazy white again? Let's make it gray. Okay, cool. We can do that. Okay. Dice roller. So 12:14. Okay. 12:14. And we'll do one of those. Oh, man. That over there. Okay. I'm sorry it took a million years, but here we go. That number right there, 12:14. Let's now figure out who will win the $200 GameStop gift card. We got it. We got it. Boom. Aw, shit. Number 410. Who's number 410? Let's find out. We're going to find out together. Is it going to be somebody we know? 410. Sushi Juice. Sushi! Sushi! Yeah. Oh, who's Sushi Juice? My man. That's my man, Sushi Juice. That's my guy. Sushi Juice. You won the $200 GameStop gift card. Hell yeah. And if Sushi doesn't claim the card throughout next week, we'll draw again. We'll draw another one. Another one. Okay, you know what I just realized? I don't even know if I can change the title on this thing. Let me see if I can. All right, let's try. Oh, yeah, I can. Let's edit this. Okay, let's title it Researching for House of the Dragon Season 2. And then we'll change the thumbnail. Hey, mods on Twitch, can you change it on Twitch too? Where's the thumbnail? what the fuck? Where's this dope thumbnail I made this morning? What the shit? Are you kidding me? Bro, what the oh, here it is. Haha. Research stream. I just changed it. Woo! Okay, and I'm turning the gambling off too. That's enough. You guys have had enough gambling. All right, I'll let you get a couple more rolls in, but then I'm going to shut it down. Okay. House of the Dragon. How House of the Dragon ends. Spoilers for the Fire and Blood book ending. Song of House Dragons of the Dragon. Complete history of the Targaryen Civil War. Okay, I think this is going to be the one. I think we need to start on this one. Okay, now. By the way, I just saw this pop up. It's kind of cool. HBO's Game of Thrones prequel, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, has begun filming. Currently slated for a 2025 premiere. Can you imagine if they go from House of the Dragon, which I think will pop off, season 2, and then they go right into the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which might be about the actual, like, Robert's Rebellion, right? Damn, bro. That's wild. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let me plop this over here. Let me plop this over here. Okay. Now, what are we doing? It's Dunk and Egg? What? Really? Now, Dunk and Egg, that's about the secret Targaryen, right? Let me pop out this chat right here. Oh, my God. Egg was the Master's younger brother from the Wall? Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right, guys. I'm shutting the gambling off. We'll bring it back next week. Okay, so the main thing here is I am a normie when it comes to Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. So what I want to do is I want to get educated. And there are, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 main things that I'm looking for that I want to take some notes on because these are things I want to look for in the show specifically. I might even do like a video of like the main things to keep in mind going into the next season. I don't know. But the main things that I want to look for are the new dragons. What new dragons are there? And we'll watch this video. We might have to watch another video that actually breaks down some of the news and info. Which houses are on what team? I want to know about the dragon seed. These are the Targaryen bastards that get brought in because they can bond with dragons. And then I want to know about the Starks specifically. So that's kind of what it is. This video is called Song and Ice and Fire, Dance of Dragons, Complete History of the Targaryen Civil War. And it is on a channel called Civilization X. Has almost 1 million views from a year ago. And we can also watch some Alt Shift X, maybe. I know he's really good. shall we begin? Am I hyped for Sparking Zero? Absolutely, dude. That's going to be like, it's one of my most anticipated games of the year. Comes out in October, right? Hell yeah. Okay, ready? Here we go.
A century after the Valyrian Dragon Lords of House Targaryen conquered 6 of 7 Westerosi realms, the continent was experiencing the final years of a golden age under King Jaehaerys I, which then continued under his grandson Viserys I, who inherited the Iron Throne in 103 AC. While Viserys was not a brilliant, transformative figure like his grandfather, he was a kind, amiable king well loved by his subjects, continuing most of the policies which led to their years of prosperity. Yet in the matter of succession, Viserys took an uncharacteristically firm and unwavering position, contradicting the carefully considered precedent established by his grandfather in years past. Although the structure of Westerosi society made it function as a feudal monarchy, with local lords maintaining significant power, influence, and armies, the overwhelming might of House Targaryen's dragons, which served as enormous flying fire-breathing beasts of mass destruction, meant the king could act as an absolute monarch, changing laws, ignoring precedent, and establishing reforms as he saw fit. Therefore, when Aemma Arryn, the wife of Viserys Targaryen, gave birth to only one surviving child, the king broke free from the tradition of agnatic primogeniture, which demanded a male inherit the throne, to name his daughter Rhaenyra as heir. Attending small council meetings and...
Okay, so we've seen all of this in season 1. So basically, big, awesome king that brought peace to the realm. And then you have Viserys, who's the king that we kind of find on the Iron Throne at the beginning of the show. He's not really known for doing much, kind of a lame duck in some ways, but he does continue on peace and keeps sort of upholding the tradition of the king that came before. But then towards the end of his life, and this is like the whole thing, he makes his daughter the heir, which absolutely causes a lot of turmoil. Okay.
Shadowing her father, Rhaenyra spent years training to become the first ruling queen of Westeros, growing into a beautiful, charming, clever young girl, beloved by all, and nicknamed the realm's delight. After the death of her mother, Aemma Arryn, in 105 AC, King Viserys invited the most prominent lords of the realm to a lavish ceremony where he formally declared his daughter Rhaenyra heir to the Iron Throne, prompting the nobles in attendance to pledge their unwavering loyalty to the princess. Yet despite this precaution taken to protect his daughter's position, the first seeds of conflict were planted just a year later when Viserys married Alicent Hightower, a highly ambitious young woman who gave him 4 children in quick succession, 3 boys, Aegon, Aemond, and Daeron, as well as a girl, Helena, meaning there were now numerous possible male successors. Yet Viserys remained resolute in his decision, making it clear Rhaenyra would continue to be his heir. On reasonably amicable terms for the first few years of their relationship, Princess Rhaenyra and Queen Alicent grew increasingly hostile as they vied to become the most influential woman in the realm. Nowhere was this division more clear than at the Great Tourney of 111 AC, when Princess Rhaenyra donned a beautiful black gown, while Alicent wore one of green, leading the royal court to name their respective factions, the Blacks and Greens.
Oh yeah, we remember that. We remember that. That was cool. That was a cool part of the story.
Seeing that her husband, the king, was adamant his eldest daughter was heir, unwilling to change his mind, no matter her arguments, Alicent worked diligently over the years to tarnish Rhaenyra's sterling reputation, thereby chipping away at her support throughout the realm. Unfortunately for the princess, the unusual circumstances surrounding her private life gave the Greens plenty of ammunition for their attacks. Though Rhaenyra married Laenor Velaryon in 114 AC, a seemingly good match from a powerful family of Valyrian blood like the Targaryens, rumors abound that her husband preferred the company of men. Similarly, rumors circulated about Rhaenyra's activities, with some claiming she lost her virginity to her uncle, Daemon Targaryen, and may also have had some sort of relationship with her champion, Sir Criston Cole, a knight of the Kingsguard, madly devoted to the princess, until a...
So basically, Alicent is Starlight, and Rhaenyra is Firecracker. And they started a bunch of bad rumors about it, but some of them were actually real, but you know what I mean.
Highly contentious rift of unknown origins formed between them, causing him to join the Greens, as he burned with hatred for the woman he once loved. The rumors about her private life then worsened during her marriage to Laenor, as she was believed to be sleeping with her new champion, Sir Harwin Strong, a great warrior considered by some as the most physically powerful man in Westeros. Evidence of this affair was seemingly produced when Rhaenyra gave birth to 3 sons, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey, none of whom had the silver-white hair, violet eyes, or delicate features of Laenor, instead born with the brown hair, brown eyes, and pug nose of Harwin Strong.
Yeah, and I mean, the show takes it to another level by making the Valyrians black, and so therefore, like, these kids don't look biracial at all. They don't have the hair for sure, and that's what was in the book, but the show kind of takes it to another level. I thought it was actually pretty clever. It was a very interesting way to emphasize something and add a racial tension to it.
Yet everyone involved vehemently denied the accusations, leading to arguments, fights, and increased tensions between blacks and greens. Even after Rhaenyra moved with her family out of the capital to Dragonstone, the rumors and conflict persisted until King Viserys had enough, and in 120 AC declared that anyone heard disparaging his grandchildren's lineage would have their tongue removed, while also ordering Harwin Strong back to his home of Harrenhal, where he later died in a mysterious fire. In addition to losing a possible...
Yeah, and do you remember the whole thing where he's confronted by this, and I think he says, like, history remembers names, not, like, skin color or face or rumors or something. So, like, he was just all about upholding that, you know?
Lover. Rhaenyra lost her husband Laenor in that same year, with stories claiming he was killed by a male lover. Having previously agreed to a political union, this time the princess married her uncle Daemon Targaryen, the man she loved since her youth. Yet Daemon was a rogue prince, beloved by some but hated by many others, living a life of hedonism and adventure, experiencing such wild extremes that at some points in his life he mingled with prostitutes and vagrants in the streets of King's Landing, while at other times he struck out to build his legacy, briefly becoming a king in his own right when he raised an army and conquered the Stepstones.
Yeah, Daemon's such an interesting character, had a lot going on, kind of trying to forge his own way in the world. Really compelling performance by Matt Smith. Super cool.
As a consequence of living such an unorthodox lifestyle, one of his most hated enemies was Otto Hightower, the father of Alicent Hightower and Hand of the King, adding yet another layer of conflict between the blacks and greens. Though Viserys saw the terrible rift forming in his family, his conflict-averse, jovial spirit made him unable or unwilling to remedy the situation, aside from ensuring they did not squabble in his presence. As a result, any good he accomplished throughout his reign was entirely overshadowed by the factional division he allowed in his court, which ultimately led to the worst, most devastating civil war in Targaryen history.
And here we go, baby. Sorry if you've been watching the first season like Rossi, you've had years to catch up, so now we're going to spoil everything for you. Also, too, before we go further, let's just say, this is what happens according to the book. And the book is done through a historical lens. And there's even some stuff within the book, unless I'm mistaken, I believe there's stuff within the book that discusses different interpretations, right? Like some people say this happened, some people say this happened, but everybody knows this happened. You know what I mean? I say that to say some of this might be adapted differently. And some of the stuff might just be changed. Like, I've heard they change a couple of things specifically within the show that they did for whatever reason. So this is potential spoilers for events that'll happen in the show. But I also think it's just more of a roadmap. And the real joy of House of the Dragon, even for people that have read the book, is that, again, the book is just a historical document. So you don't, like, go through the scenes with the characters. You just hear about the results of a battle. You hear about this event or that event, right? So even people that read the book enjoy the show because you actually get to see and experience these things that were just glossed over in the book.
Finally came to a head in 129 AC when King Viserys died in his sleep at the age of 52, causing Queen Alicent to call for a meeting of the Small Council, where she immediately set her plans into motion, completely ignoring the wishes of her deceased husband to crown her eldest son as King of Westeros. having spent years ensuring the council was comprised of green supporters. Nearly all agreed to pledge themselves to Aegon Targaryen, save for Old Lord Beesbury, the Master of Coin, who refused and accused them of stealing Rhaenyra's crown. Accounts differ on what happened next, with some claiming he was arrested and died in a cell, while others say Sir Criston Cole, now the champion of Queen Alicent, immediately slit his throat or threw him from a window. In any case, loyal Lord Beesbury became the first casualty in the Dance of the Dragon civil war. For 7 days, the Greens kept the death of Viserys secret so they could remove and replace all their enemies at court, until finally the Kingsguard Sir Criston Cole crowned Aegon II as King of Westeros, claiming legitimacy through tradition and historical precedent, including the conclusion to the Great Council of 101 AC under King Jaehaerys I, which stated a woman could not inherit the Iron Throne over a male claimant. Born from the
Now, and I'm pretty sure this is not in the books either, but in the show, we know that there was a meeting where it seemed like everything was going to come together. And late in the night, a dying King Viserys calls out to Alicent and says something which she interprets to mean that he changed his mind and he wants Aegon to be the heir. Okay? Again, not in the books. And probably for good reason. I mean, even if you think about the perspective of people from that time, she's not going to really tell people about that or like make that a big thing. Although I think she kind of does in the show. But that's something that really kicks everything off because it seemed like Alicent was just going to support Rhaenyra before that happened. Interesting.
Machinations of Alicent and Otto Hightower, Aegon Targaryen had no ambition to be king, and when presented with the idea, refused, stating he had no desire to steal his sister's crown. But Criston Cole eventually convinced him his family would be killed if Rhaenyra became queen, as she would no doubt seek to eliminate her rivals. Believing the safety of his family was at stake, Aegon saw no choice but to take the throne and commit himself to the war. Over on Dragonstone, Rhaenyra was pregnant with her 6th child, having given birth to 2 more sons with Daemon Targaryen, naming them Aegon and Viserys. But when she heard her father was dead and younger brother usurped the throne, her rage was so intense, she went into early labor and lost the child.
Rossi says, I'm guessing most fans side with the blacks. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure. Let's go to the polls. I think most of us are Team Black here. Let's see. Team Black or green? I think because of Daemon and because we kind of like Viserys, especially like that one episode where he manages to walk to the throne despite all of his sickness and then he supports his daughter. I think that's kind of part of why most people go with the blacks. And then IQ Barry says, just wanted to drop in and show some love. Keep doing you and putting out great content, Josh. Absolute legend. Nerd Vengeance for life. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Look at that. Wait, what? 100%? 100%? Damn.
Blaming Aegon the Elder, Alicent, and their supporters for the death. Calling upon her allies, Rhaenyra was crowned the true Queen of Westeros from her seat on Dragonstone, proudly wearing the crown of her father Viserys and great-grandfather Jaehaerys, as it was stolen from the royal palace by Sir Steffan Darkland, a knight of the Kingsguard who abandoned Aegon II, believing she was the rightful queen.
Yeah, so they steal Viserys' actual crown, don't they? And then they get it to Rhaenyra?
Gathering her most loyal supporters, including her husband Daemon Targaryen, her father's cousin Rhaenys Targaryen, the Sea Snake Lord Corlys Velaryon, and her 3 eldest sons, Rhaenyra held the first meeting of the Black Council, where they went over their strategy for the war. Seeking powerful allies, Queen Rhaenyra sent her eldest son Jacaerys upon Vermax to the Vale of Arryn in the north, while
Now that is the last scene of season 1, right? Pretty sure?
Rode Arax to the Stormlands. Hoping to keep them from harm, Rhaenyra sent them only as messengers, forbidding them from engaging in combat. Her husband, however, Daemon Targaryen, flying atop Caraxes, had no such restriction when he flew to the Riverlands. Fortunately for the locals, no violence was necessary, as House Strong surrendered Harrenhal without a fight. Winning the support of House Blackwood, Queen Rhaenyra's forces won the Battle of the Burning Mill and Battle of Stonehenge, defeating House Bracken, the greatest green supporter in the region. While Daemon completed his conquest of the Riverlands, 15-year-old Jacaerys embraced his role as a diplomat, securing alliances with House Arryn of the Vale, as well as several of the most powerful houses in the north, including the Manderleys, Borrells, and Sunderlands, before securing the Pact of Ice and Fire with Lord Cregan of House Stark.
Now, that's going to be something that we get in Season 2. So we're definitely going to see like that sort of build and the support build up in the north. Interesting. They just kind of gloss over they didn't even talk about the guy getting killed, right?
Promising a marriage between the Starks and Targaryens. Yet while their two northern ventures succeeded, the southern mission, led by Lucerys, sought to be the safest of the three, ended in complete disaster. Making the mistake of assuming Boros Baratheon was with the Blacks because his father was an ardent supporter of Rhaenyra, Lucerys arrived to find Aemond of the Greens negotiating an alliance.
Yes, so this is what kicks off the whole thing, and a son for a son is going to be the first episode, right?
Boros informed Lucerys that Aemond offered to marry one of his daughters, and since Rhaenyra's boys were all betrothed, the Blacks could not beat that offer. Still holding a grudge for the loss of his eye, Aemond wanted to attack the boy, but Boros forbid it in his hall. However, once Lucerys flew away, Boros gave permission for Aemond to give chase. Engaging in the dance over Shipbreaker Bay, young Arax was no match for Vhagar, and so both Lucerys and his dragon were killed.
Now, again, something that's different in the show, and this is why I like this kind of stuff, because they're just adding a little bit more oomph to it. But in the show, it's Vhagar that kills. He didn't even want to do that. Remember when he's like, no, Vhagar, no. And then it's Vhagar that does it. And it's like now he has to act like it was on purpose or intentional. It's crazy. Hey, look, it's no Vhagar, no. I remember you. I remember you from last time we would do this. Crazy.
While Rhaenyra cried and raged over the death of her son, Daemon Targaryen swore vengeance and reached out to his underworld contacts in the capital, arranging for the assassins Blood and Cheese to infiltrate the Red Keep using secret tunnels underneath. Killing a handmaid.
Okay, now that I believe is going to happen in the first episode. Blood and Cheese.
They captured Alicent, Helena, Jaehaerys, Jaehaera, and Maelor before forcing the king's wife to choose which of her three children would die.
Okay, and if I remember correctly, because we did a little bit of research on this last year, they give her a choice, and she chooses one, and then Daemon kills the other one so that they live knowing that they were chosen. Let's keep watching.
Threatening to rape her daughter and kill them all if she refused, Helena reluctantly chose her youngest Maelor, reasoning that he did not understand what was happening and would not suffer. But the assassins instead cut off the head of her eldest son, Jaehaerys, before fleeing into the night. Blood was soon caught trying to escape the city with the prince's head in a bag, and so was tortured and killed. But Cheese and the former dancer Miseria, who arranged it all for Daemon, were never caught. This powerful act of vengeance then did further damage as Queen Helena grew depressed and despondent, unable to look at her son Maelor since she named him to die.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's going to be very psychological, really dark for sure.
King, meanwhile, fell to drink and rage, consumed by hatred. Though Aegon enjoyed the company of many women aside from his wife, their marriage remained amicable until the death of their child, when they stopped sleeping together or even communicating at all. Hoping to strike back against the Blacks, Sir Criston Cole sent the Kingsguard, Auric Cargyle, on a mission to infiltrate Dragonstone, posing as his twin brother Eric, who served as Queen's Guard for Rhaenyra.
Remember the two twin guys? Seems like that's going to be a big thing, too.
On a mission of assassination, possibly against the Queen or her children, his target was never discovered, as he was spotted and exposed by his brother before completing the mission.
Oh, it's like the Spider-Man meme. That's going to be good.
Engaging in single combat to the death, stories say the brothers killed each other out of knightly duty but died in each other's arms, while others, like Rhaenyra's jester Mushroom, claimed they suffered grievous wounds quickly and cursed each other as traitors.
So that's another thing that's interesting in the books is there's different perspectives. You have Mushroom, who would tell things a bit differently than some of the other accounts. So that'll be interesting to see. Are they going to die honorably? Are they going to just because of the duty have to fight each other and regret it and then have some kind of catharsis at the end of it? Or are they going to go down killing each other, hating each other? If I know Game of Thrones, it'll probably be that one.
The Blacks winning allies and striking back with fury
So,
against
G,
the
do you think they're going to be
The hand of
honorable?
the King Otto Hightower did his best to strengthen their position, but largely failed in many areas as he was unable to secure an alliance with Dorne, which claimed neutrality, was receiving no reply from his messages to the Ironborn, and could not even secure his own homeland of the Reach, where only the houses Hightower and Redwyne pledged for Aegon, while houses Costain, Mullendor, Tarly, Rowan, and Grimm sided with Rhaenyra.
Dude, that's the one thing is like, dude, it is just too much for me to keep up with all these houses, right? Because some of these houses are not around in Game of Thrones. Like the Casterly and the Rain thing happened. So House Rain is here. House Strong disappears, I believe, by that time too. So it's like kind of hard for me to like keep track of all this shit,
Tyrell, seeing their realm divided, declared neutrality. Sending word to Ormond Hightower to destroy the enemy lords of the Reach, Otto next set his sights across the sea to Essos, where the Kingdom of the Three Daughters agreed to ally with Aegon Targaryen in exchange for the Stepstones and trade rights. Yet this victory was too little to make an immediate impact, and the corrupt, inefficient Kingdom of the Three Daughters needed time to prepare their forces.
If I was a Game of Thrones character, who would I be? Oh, come on, it's obvious. I mean, come on, chat. Who would I be? Come on. Come on, you know. Hey, come on. Hey, what the fuck? Bran? Oh, Jesus. No, I would be Jon Snow. Duh. Hodor? Jesus.
Therefore, the king dismissed his grandfather and appointed Criston Cole as Hand of the King. Far more violent and warlike than his predecessor, Cole implemented an aggressive strategy, beginning by executing all Black faction prisoners unless they bent the knee to Aegon. Yet only 3 submitted, while the rest chose to keep their honor in death. Entering into a new phase of the war, Westeros was properly fractured, with the North, Riverlands, and Vale pledged to Rhaenyra, the Westerlands and Stormlands siding with Aegon, the Reach and Crownlands divided, Dorne remaining neutral, and the Iron Islands undeclared. Therefore, Cole first elected to focus on the nearby Crownlands, which, outside the capital, largely stood with Rhaenyra, sacking Duskendale and beheading its lord. Cole then moved on to Rook's Rest, but House Staunton had time to send for aid, prompting Princess Rhaenys of the Blacks to arrive on her dragon Meleys. Engaging in the Battle of Rook's Rest, Criston Cole attacked the enemy from the ground with scorpions and archers, while King Aegon flew on Sunfire and Prince Aemond upon Vhagar. Badly outnumbered, Rhaenys nonetheless put up a valiant struggle, seeing Meleys viciously bite Sunfire's neck, which caused a chaotic melee between all 3 that sent them crashing to the ground. Suffering a terrible defeat, Rhaenys and her dragon were killed, while Aemond and Vhagar emerged unharmed, completing the conquest of Rook's Rest.
Okay, so that's going to be bananas, dude. Because that's the older lady, right? The older lady that was married to the sea snake? That'll be crazy.
The king and his dragon, meanwhile, also survived, but were both critically wounded, with Sunfire tearing a wing and Aegon suffering burns and broken bones. The king was so injured, he required months of painful recovery, spending most of his time sedated with milk of the poppy. As Aegon II was incapacitated, his brother Aemon Targaryen was named regent as protector of the realm.
Yes, and this is going to be a really big deal, too. That is a whole thing, because his brother, who didn't even want to rule, is going to become injured and have to be, just in critical care. And then Aemond will be, for all intents and purposes, the ruler.
A harsh, courageous, and bloody-minded warrior, bonded to the oldest, most powerful dragon known to exist, Aemond was prepared to escalate the war and achieve victory at any cost. As Sunfire was unable to fly, a garrison was left to feed and protect him, but this small force could not stand when House Mutton recaptured Rook's Rest and sent their warriors to slay the dragon. Although Sunfire's wound did not heal perfectly, he was recovered enough to defend himself and take flight, escaping further harm. Devastated by the loss of his beloved wife, Corlys Velaryon nearly left Rhaenyra's cause, but was convinced to stay when Jacaerys named him Hand of the Queen.
Oh,
Though the
shit.
Blacks had many powerful allies, most were far from the center of the conflict, making it difficult to respond quickly and with adequate force in or near the Crown lands. Thus, the death of Rhaenys prompted the Queen to send away the younger children of her family, as well as their dragons, for safety, sending Joffrey, Taraxis, and 3 dragon eggs to the Vale of Arryn alongside Rhaena Targaryen, Daemon's daughter from his first marriage, while Aegon the Younger, Stormcloud, Viserys, and a dragon egg were sent to be fostered by the Prince of Pentos. With his brothers gone, the Queen's heir, Jacaerys Valerion, took on increasing responsibilities in the next stage of the war.
Okay.
Knowing that Targaryen men over the years fathered many illegitimate children with smallfolk and nobility alike, Jacaerys thought up a plan to raise more dragon riders by putting out a call to the people of Dragonstone, promising great rewards.
Okay, so these are the dragon seeds. So that's interesting. I actually thought they were for the Greens, but it appears that this is actually for the Blacks. So this is a plan enacted by the little brother of her husband with the strong. Interesting.
War to any who successfully bonded a dragon. Though many failed, were wounded, or even burned alive, some few succeeded, like Hugh Hammer upon Vermithor, Ulf the White upon Silverwing, Adam of Hall on Seasmoke, and the girl Nettles riding Sheepstealer.
Nice.
Adam of Hall and his brother Alan were bastard-born children, supposedly fathered by Laenor Valerion, though they were more likely the children of Corlys Valerion. Therefore, when
so that'll be kind of interesting because they could be from Valerians. They could actually be a little biracial too. That is interesting.
Adam claimed a dragon, Rhaenyra legitimized both brothers, allowing the Lord of Driftmark to name the eldest his heir. With the dragon seeds at their backs.
God damn it, Rossi! Says, I can see you being Jon Snow because you know nothing, Jon Snow. Awesome. Thanks.
Gained a decisive advantage over the enemy, but soon suffered a catastrophe in the Battle of the Gullet, remembered as one of the bloodiest sea battles in history. At last fulfilling their agreement, the Kingdom of the Three Daughters sent a fleet of 90 ships to break the Valerion sea blockade around the capital. But first, they ran into the vessel carrying Rhaenyra's sons to Pentos, able to capture Viserys and his dragon egg, while Aegon fled atop Stormcloud, who was gravely wounded but nonetheless made it to Dragonstone, ensuring his rider's safety before dying.
Wow.
The fleet then attacked the
That's going to be intense too, bro. So she's going to send the kids away. They're going to be taken by that huge fleet. One of them gets away, and the dragon's wounded, but gets there before it dies. Oh, that's awesome.
The Valerion ships at the Gullet, causing Jacaerys to lead the dragon seeds into battle, destroying 62 of 90 vessels.
Damn.
The foreign.
Oh my God, bro. Can you imagine? Can you imagine why? I hope we get to see that this season, dude. 60 ships destroyed by a basically like a squadron of dragons. Holy shit.
Fleet, however, had experience fighting dragons, able to bring down Vermax and kill its rider Jacaerys. The remaining fleet was also able to sack and burn nearby Spicetown and High Tide on Driftmark, eliminating a third of the Valerion fleet, slaughtering their people and destroying much of Corlys Valerion's wealth. Though the fleet sailed back to Essos with much treasure and a valuable war hostage, the overwhelming loss of ships and men caused the Kingdom of the Three Daughters to consider the battle a miserable defeat, leading to a political crisis and their very own civil war. Though the Greens struck a devastating blow with the death of Jacaerys and sacking of Driftmark, their allies in Essos were now out of the war, and the Valerion fleet remained in control of the Narrow Sea, meaning the Battle of the Gullet was technically a black victory, as the enemy failed to end the blockade of the capital. Distraught by the death of yet another son, matters worsened for Rhaenyra during the Battle of the Honeywine in the Reach, when her allies were on the brink of victory against House Hightower, only for Prince Daeron, the youngest brother of King Aegon, to fly his dragon Tessarion into battle, defeating the Blacks. Targeting the Riverlands, the Greens, Aemond and Criston Cole led an army to Harrenhal, expecting to...
This, I've heard, is one of the dopest battles. This will be really cool to see, dude.
Face Daemon Targaryen, but the fortress was empty as the rogue prince departed, eventually making his way to...
Never mind.
Maidenpool, where he remained for a time with the dragon seed Nettles, possibly beginning a romantic affair. Seeking to join Aemon's host at Harrenhal, House Lannister of the Westerlands led over 8,000 men into their eastern neighbor. Yet the lords of the Riverlands knew their territory well and were committed to victory, repeatedly throwing themselves and their warriors at the Lannister army, whittling down enemy forces. Despite House Lannister winning the battle at the Red Fork and battle at Acorn Hall, they lost 2 commanders and many men along the way, with the River Lords continually regrouping and renewing their attacks. The last stand defense against the Lannister advance then followed at the battle by the lakeshore, where the River Lords were joined by Lord Roderick Dustin and the Winter Wolves, 2,000 hard-fighting northern warriors, unwilling to wait for the larger northern host to gather, and marched south seeking a glorious death, in keeping with the tradition of older men voluntarily leaving their homes to die in the wilderness, thereby ensuring more food for their family during harsh winter months.
Interesting.
Thus, the Winter
Tim O'Brien, thanks for the gifted.
Wolves were entirely prepared.
I'm excited to see the Lannister army in action. I'm excited to see this northern army. That seems cool.
To die, making them possibly the most fearsome, devastating fighters in the entire war. Engaging in what was alternatively called the Fish Feed, the Lannister army was entirely destroyed, while the Blacks lost 2,000 men, including 2/3 of the Winter Wolves, who fought with unparalleled ferocity.
That's
the
gonna
defeat
be cool,
of the Greens
dude.
in
The
the
Winter
Riverlands
Wolves
then went on to have reverberating effects across the continent, leading to many more victories for the Blacks, like in the Westerlands, where the destruction of their armies meant the wealthy realm was largely undefended. This in turn caused the Red Kraken of House Greyjoy to declare for the Blacks so he could plunder the Westerlands and Reach, capturing Case and Fair Isle as well as sacking Lannisport. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra was still heartbroken by the death of her sons and could hold back her wrath no longer. Organizing the invasion of King's Landing, Rhaenyra and her husband atop
You would def be the butcher's boy from season 1 of Game of Thrones. Awesome, thanks.
their dragons took the capital in less than a day, as the Green armies were on campaign and the garrison was betrayed by the Gold Cloaks, city watchmen loyal to their former commander Daemon Targaryen. Finally set upon her rightful throne, Rhaenyra set about dealing with those captured during the conquest. Unfortunately for the Queen, however, these did not include her still injured rival, Aegon II, who escaped under the care of Larys Strong. Neither did she find the king's children, Jaehaera and Maelor, as they were sent away with the King's Guard to supposedly safe locations. Yet while Jaehaera arrived at Storm's End without issue, young Maelor was attacked and killed by an angry mob at Bitterbridge in the Reach. Though Rhaenyra was robbed of these captives, those remaining in the capital included the increasingly depressed Queen Helaena, held captive in her room, but largely left alone until she finally threw herself from a window, ending her own life, possibly after learning about Maelor's death.
Damn.
Another valuable prisoner was the Queen's longtime hated rival, Alicent Hightower, who was spared physical harm, but nonetheless suffered greatly in captivity, ripping apart her clothes and cursing Rhaenyra when she learned of Helena's death.
Damn.
Others on the Green Council, like Alicent's father, Sir Otto Hightower, and Sir Jasper Wilde, were executed, while Sir Tywin Lannister was given to torturers. At the height of Rhaenyra's reign, when she made plans to finish off her enemies, Alicent tried to negotiate with the Queen, offering a compromise where the kingdom was split in two, but Rhaenyra refused, explaining that she would have given her enemies positions of honor in her court, but they gave up any chance of generosity when they stole her birthright and killed her sons. Back in the Riverlands, Aemond and Criston Cole heard about the many Green defeats across the continent and left Harrenhal, with the Regent going on a one Dragon Rider campaign of terror across the region, while the Hand of the King led his army to the Reach.
That'll be cool.
Yet the warriors of these lands were now hardened veterans with burgeoning reputations, who alongside their ferocious northern allies were unwilling to let the hated Kingmaker retreat without issue, whittling down his forces through hit-and-run attacks, until their final victory in the Butcher's Ball, utterly slaughtering the Greens and killing Criston Cole.
Damn!
Having won a great victory in the Reach, Ormond Hightower marched his Green army west, hoping to take back King's Landing. Along the way, they continued to accumulate victories against House Merryweather in the Siege of Longtable, and House Caswell in the burning of Bitterbridge, where Daeron and Tessarion sought vengeance for the death of his nephew Maelor. With their enemies reinforced by men from the Riverlands, the next battle was fought at Tumbleton, where Rhaenyra's forces might have won a great victory if not for the traitorous Dragon Seeds, Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White, who betrayed the Blacks and secured victory for the Greens.
What?
Yet this battle was not a total.
Some of the Dragon Seeds betrayed them? What are we talking about here? Josh will hold the door. God damn it.
A loss for the Blacks, as the Winter Wolves of the North fought with such ferocity, they carved their way through enemy ranks to kill the commanders Ormond and Brynden Hightower. This victory also had other negative consequences for the Greens, as Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White proved to be honorless vagrants without loyalty to anyone but themselves. Back in King's Landing, the increasingly paranoid Queen was appalled by the betrayal of the two Dragon Seeds, and feared the others might turn as well.
I'm appalled.
Ordering the arrest of Adam Valerion and Nettles. Warned by his grandfather, Adam escaped King's Landing on his dragon Sea Smoke, leading to the arrest of Corlys Velaryon, which in turn caused his fleet to abandon the queen.
Damn.
Nettles, meanwhile, was under the protection of her possible lover, Daemon Targaryen, who refused to comply with Rhaenyra's order, instead sending Nettles flying away to safety, while he dropped all other priorities and spread the word he was waiting for Aemon Targaryen in Harrenhal. The brother of the king then arrived on
This battle's supposed to be epic, and this has been teased out in the first season. They had a couple moments in the first season. Hell
Aegar
yeah.
and engaged Daemon upon Caraxes in the Battle above the God's Eye, ending with both dragons locked together as they crashed into the ground. Just before impact, Daemon ensured his enemy's death by jumping from his seat to launch through the air, stabbing Aemon through his one eye with the Valyrian steel sword Dark Sister.
Damn.
Eventually, the remains of the dragons Caraxes and Vhagar were found, along with the corpse of Aemon Targaryen. Daemon's remains, however, were never located, causing some to claim he survived and spent the rest of his days with his beloved Nettles. Finding herself in an increasingly difficult situation, Rhaenyra unknowingly suffered yet another blow when Larry Strong smuggled the recuperating Aegon II onto Dragonstone, where he reunited with his dragon Sunfire. Gathering all those willing to betray Rhaenyra, they launched a coup and took Dragonstone for the Greens. Princess Baela, the daughter of Daemon, rode Moondancer against the enemy, but her dragon was killed by Sunfire and she was captured. Aegon II survived the fighting, but once again suffered a terrible injury by breaking his legs. With the queen's fortune...
Dude, this dude, Aemon, man. What a crazy... That dude is just getting fucked up.
It's crumbling all around her. Rioters were creating chaos in the capital, allowing petty usurpers to rise and find followers, like when the knight Sir Perkin the Flea declared Tristan Truefire as king of Westeros, claiming his legitimacy as the bastard son of old King Viserys I, and bestowing knighthood on any willing to join them. At the same time, a mad prophet called the Shepherd rallied a great mob to storm the dragon pit, hoping to slaughter the remaining dragons of House Targaryen, naming them demons, bringing forth the doom of men. Desperate to protect the dragons and fight like his brothers had, young Joffrey Velaryon disobeyed orders, mounted his mother's dragon Syrax, and flew into battle. Unfortunately for the prince, Syrax was unaccustomed to his weight and tossed him off mid-flight, sending him falling to his death below. Losing her mind with worry, Rhaenyra sought aid in retrieving her son, causing 7 courageous knights to voluntarily ride out amidst the chaos, seeking the boy. Remembered as the 7 who rode, Sir Giles Ironwood, Sir Willem Royce, and Lord Commander Glendon Good were killed, while the rest successfully found Joffrey's remains and brought them to the queen. Meanwhile, the storming of the dragon pit continued, resulting in the deaths of numerous dragons, including Shrikos, Morgul, Taraxis, Dreamfire, and Syrax. They, in turn, burned and killed a great many rioters, eventually collapsing the domed roof to crush all beneath.
Dang.
With the city lost, Rhaenyra fled with Aegon the Younger, believing he was her only surviving child, though Viserys still lived as a captive in Essos. In the Reach, Sir Hobart Hightower was left in command of the army, which to this point largely succeeded in conquering the territory for the Greens. Yet he was unable to capitalize on their victories, as the 2 Dragonseed betrayers were greedy and belligerent, refusing to move until their outrageous demands were met, all the while gathering many dishonorable warriors to their cause.
So Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White, those might be some of my favorite characters. That seems kind of crazy.
While Ulf the White wanted Highgarden, the capital of the Reach held by House Tyrell, Hugh Hammer sought an even greater prize, donning a crown of black iron to proclaim himself king of Westeros. When young
I knew it. I knew I was going to like this guy.
Targaryen objected by throwing wine in Hugh's face. He threatened to beat the boy, and when Sir Roger Corn removed the crown, the would-be king nailed 3 horseshoes to his skull.
What?
Their increasing retinue of men and fearsome dragons, combined with the army's loss of a unifying leader, meant the betrayers were formidable obstacles to progress that could not be easily overcome and would ultimately destroy them. Unwilling to allow Hugh Hammer's treason, the Caltrop conspiracy formed, wherein a group of nobles sought to assassinate the 2 betrayers. Yet before they could strike, the Second Battle of Tumbleton erupted when Adam Velaryon and Sea Smoke led a Riverland army of 4,000 blacks in a vicious surprise attack. Unable to live with the shame of being named a traitor, Adam fought with tremendous courage, engaging in a chaotic melee with the riderless dragons Vermithor and Tessarion, ending with all of them dead or gravely wounded to die soon after. A brutal battle resulting in many nobles and warriors killed. Young Prince Daemon Targaryen was the most notable figure among them, meaning that of Alicent Hightower's 4 children and 3 grandchildren, only Aegon II and Jaehaera remained. Winning a great victory for the Blacks, the Greens were unable to count on the betrayers, as Ulf the White was so drunk he slept through the fighting, and Hugh Hammer was killed by the valiant Green Caltrop. Bold John Roxton was then cut down by the False King's men.
What?
Though they lost the battle, many Green nobles survived as the gate to the city remained closed, and the enemy army had no more dragons or siege equipment. Therefore, the Blacks looted the dead and moved on, while the Greens remained with the shattered remnants of their army in town. Deciding to rid themselves of Ulf the White, who was quick to name himself king after Hugh's death, the Caltrops gifted him poisoned wine. Yet the betrayer grew suspicious, and so Sir Hobart Hightower willingly sacrificed himself by drinking the wine and praising its taste, thereby giving Ulf the confidence to partake. Both died moments later. No longer finding a friendly welcome in the Crown lands, most of Rhaenyra's men deserted, and she was forced to sell her crown to buy passage on a ship. Among those still loyal to the Queen were the Manderleys of White Harbor, who begged her to retreat north where she had many allies. But Rhaenyra suffered so much despair and endured such endless bouts of rage, she could no longer think rationally, refusing all sage advice to instead make her way to Dragonstone, unaware her brother Aegon already took the fortress. Capturing the Queen and her son, Aegon the Younger was held hostage and forced to watch his mother, Queen Rhaenyra of the Black faction, rightful heir to Viserys I, burned alive and eaten by the usurper's dragon, Sunfire.
No!
Having survived many injuries and won many battles throughout his life, Sunfire's wounds eventually grew worse and he passed away on Dragonstone. With the Queen dead, Aegon II returned to King's Landing and once again sat upon the Iron Throne, finding a city in chaos from rebels and traitors. Having lost control of the capital for a period known as the Moon of Three Kings, the Shepherd ruled his mob from the ruins of the Dragon Pit, while Trystane Truefire and Sir Perkin the Flea took the Red Keep. Then there was Gaiman Palehair, the 5-year-old son of a prostitute, crowned king in a brothel atop Visenya's Hill, claiming legitimacy as the bastard son of Aegon II.
What?
With his mother in control, Gaiman Palehair issued numerous progressive decrees seeking to create equality between men and women. Yet these would-be rulers were soon swept aside by the armies of House Baratheon, which joined Aegon in the capital. Defeating all three pretenders, Trystane and the prostitute were executed, while Gaiman Palehair was spared and made a ward of House Targaryen. The Shepherd, who remained defiant until the end, was burned alive along with hundreds of his supporters. Though Rhaenyra was dead, Aegon sat the Iron Throne and a Baratheon army held the capital. Aegon II and the Green faction somehow found themselves on the verge of total annihilation. In this final phase of the war, the North, Riverlands, Vale, and Iron Islands were firmly with the Blacks, while the Crownlands, Reach, and Westerlands were neutralized, leaving only the Stormlands and capital with Aegon II.
Interesting.
Yet of all the enemies they were now facing, the most insurmountable was the northern army of Lord Cregan Stark,
Let's
who
go.
finally finished gathering a massive host of up to 20,000 men to conquer the south for Rhaenyra's son, Aegon the Younger. Joining his march to victory were the armies of the Vale, while the Riverland army, recently victorious in the Reach, were even closer, mere days away from King's Landing. Seeking to end the immediate threat, Lord Boros Baratheon led his army out of the capital and engaged the River Lords in the Battle of the King's Road, but he greatly underestimated the young, highly capable enemy leaders like Lord Kermit Tully, Lord Benjicott Blackwood, and Lady Alysanne Blackwood, known collectively as the Lads, and their grizzled veteran warriors, dismissing them as boys and women, only to be soundly defeated.
Damn.
Seeing the tide turning against the Greens, the Crownlands contingent betrayed the Baratheon army as they attempted to retreat, leading to complete and total victory for the Blacks. A courageous warrior to the end, Boros slew a dozen knights, as well as the Lords Darry and Mallister before falling to Kermit Tully. Left with no army at all and the River Lords only one day from the capital, Aegon II was finished and the Greens defeated, but still he refused to consider surrender. When Corlys Velaryon, who was released from prison and named Master of Ships for the King, suggested Aegon join the Night's Watch, the King instead played his final hand by ordering his hostage, Aegon the Younger's ear cut off, so it could be sent to the Blacks as a warning that the boy would be killed if they moved on the capital. This would be the last order he ever gave, as Aegon II, usurper king of the Green faction, was found dead sometime later, assassinated by poisoned wine. Hoping to avoid further bloodshed, Lord Corlys Velaryon set about establishing peace before the enemy could arrive, crowning Rhaenyra's son Aegon III as King of Westeros, hoping this might end the civil war on satisfying terms for the approaching armies. But he was mistaken, as only Lord Cregan Stark of Winterfell held the power and authority to end this conflict, and he would allow no peace until his honor was satisfied. Though the lads of the Riverlands were happy to meet Corlys Velaryon and accept an easy victory, they quickly fell in line behind Cregan Stark, both fearing his wrath and admiring his abilities as a warrior and leader, agreeing to follow his command in how the war must proceed. Known as the Hour of the Wolf, Cregan Stark ruled as Hand of the King, making plans for his massive army to launch a campaign of vengeance against all those who defied Queen Rhaenyra, including the Stormlands, Reach, and Westerlands.
Damn.
He also imprisoned those suspected of murdering Aegon II without his authorization, ultimately calling for the execution of 22 prisoners, including Corlys Velaryon. Yet while Cregan Stark was ready to shed as much blood as he deemed necessary, his harsher tendencies were slowly softened by Lady Alysanne Blackwood, who grew romantically involved with the Lord, offering sage advice that might spare Westeros further suffering. Falling in love with and marrying Lady Alysanne, Cregan agreed to forego his campaign of vengeance, spared the life of Corlys Velaryon, and allowed most of the condemned to join the Night's Watch, though the Kingsguard Giles Belgrave and Master of Whisperers Larys Strong chose death, and thus were personally executed by Lord Stark, wielding Ice, the Valyrian steel sword of his family. As for Lady Alysanne...
Yeah, and that's cool, because that sword gets melted down, right, in the Game of Thrones series, but it'll be, obviously, there. In this one, because it's a prequel, but that's gonna be sick.
Whose machinations led to such destruction. She went mad in captivity and eventually died, a sad, lonely wretch, haunted by the memories of all those she'd lost. Thus it was that the Dance of the Dragon Civil War finally ended, leaving Aegon III, the 11-year-old son of Rhaenyra.
I've tuned this shit out completely. I know, look, I'm sorry. I find it interesting.
As King of Westeros. Though Cregan Stark was granted many rewards by the crown, he refused to take a position on the Regency Council and only served as Hand of the King for 2 weeks before returning to Winterfell, leaving the Southerners to their own affairs. After 2 years of vicious fighting, the lands of Westeros were utterly ravaged, losing many towns, castles, resources, and lives. Yet perhaps the most impactful consequence of this terrible civil war came from the death of so many dragons and members of the royal family, which left House Targaryen's power and influence massively reduced, lessening further with each passing year until the dragons entirely died out, allowing for the overthrow of their dynasty by King Robert Baratheon of the Stormlands in 283 AC.
Okay, very cool, man. So that's kind of like a recap of everything that happens in the books. Some interesting twists and turns there, and it's cool to be reminded of some of the things we talked about last time, because we did a little bit of this research before too. And yeah, that's crazy. So I think what we might see in episode 1, right, is very likely the what were they, Wine and Cheese or whatever, those guys getting the children or sneaking in there, Daemon doing the son for a son thing, making her choose. Allison's going to choose the youngest. He'll kill the oldest, or maybe they'll change it slightly in the show. And that's likely going to just set off the rest of it. But dude, there's a lot of twists and turns in there. Blood and cheese. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool, man. I'm kind of digging it, dude. Kind of digging it. I'm excited. I'm excited to experience some hot D on, Sunday night. And then Monday, we'll break it down. I think the breakdown on Monday will probably be more entertaining for people. I know the video was a little bit dry. And even myself, as I was watching, I was like, dude, I'm kind of getting lost in some of the sauce here. But I did pick up some of it. I'm like, okay, that's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see. Cregan Stark. Oh, man, dude. Sounds like Cregan Stark is an absolute boss. And I cannot wait to meet this guy and see how they're going to develop him in this season. Because we know House of the Dragon just renewed the show for season 3. So we are at least getting season 3, maybe a season 4 as well. And it seems like Cregan Stark will be a big part of that, which is super cool. So I'm excited to check that out. Unfortunately, guys, I'm probably going to call this stream there. I'm actually getting another fucking migraine again. I can't believe it, because I had some other stuff I wanted to get done today. So I don't know what's going on, man. These migraines are driving me crazy. I had one last night, and I'm starting to feel one coming on right now. So I've got to get out of here, because I have an Avengers video that I want to upload for you guys, and I'm supposed to do a town hall stream tonight as well. So we'll continue to try to get that content and stuff out there for you guys. And yeah, no, look, I had fun. I enjoyed the stream. But yeah, we might have to look at doing research maybe off stream or something, because it might not be the most entertaining thing for you guys to watch. So we'll We'll figure it out. We'll calibrate it and see what we want to do. But I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Is there any questions, any thoughts, comments, concerns before we get out of here? Anything you guys want to touch on, talk about? Den of misinformation. What? Can you turn gambling back on? Nope. Feel better, boss man? Hey, thanks, man. No, it's all good. I don't know what's going on, dude. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you feel better. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Tony Stark's going to show up and wreck those Starks? Yeah, doubt it. Hey, Purple Funk says almost 2.5 years of forgetting to use my member chat. LOL. Can't wait for Hot D. Team Black all the way. Much love. Nerd Vengeance for life. BBL Joshi. BBL Joshi? What the fuck? Sunday Hot D watch party? Nah, man. Sorry. I'm sorry, brother. But, yeah, probably not. I'm not going to do watch parties anymore, man. Sorry. Stop drinking the crap D&D soda. What are you talking about? This is amazing soda. What are you talking about? I just want to say from deep in my heart that you are my Jon Snow. Oh, okay. Thanks, bro. What's up with the Warhammer movie? What do you mean? Need water or am I hungry? I probably am a little dehydrated. I'm not really that hungry though. Soda is poison? Yeah, it's not good for you. You guys shouldn't drink it. Go work out? Yeah, I think so. I think I will. It's like back here in like my neck. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a rough week for me, dude. I had like insomnia in the beginning of the week. I didn't sleep for like 2 days. I mean, like you kind of sleep, but like you just lay in bed and think to yourself, man, I wish I was asleep right now. So I had like 2 days of that, and then I got a really bad migraine yesterday, and it feels like I'm getting another one today. It's like, damn. Yeah, not good. As far as Warhammer goes, I don't know what's going on with the Henry Cavill thing. I don't think it's canceled. A lot of people claiming it's canceled and it's not happening, but I don't know. There's nothing substantive there, you know? Have I had any coffee? Yeah, I had some coffee today. Had like a cup and a half. Yeah. Sleep is important. Oh, dude, sleep is so important. That's another. It's so frustrating when you have insomnia because you know that sleep would help. You know that you're not thinking correctly because of lack of sleep. You know you're getting extra frustrated because of a lack of sleep. And the only thing that will solve it is sleep, and you can't get it. So it's like, dude, it's a real mind fuck, you know, when you have insomnia. I've been good for like a couple of months, though. I haven't had a batch in like a couple of months, and then this week it came back bad. Yeah. Just wait a few months, you'll get no sleep at all. You talking about with baby number 2? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how baby number 2 does. I feel that, bro. I slept for like 2 hours last night. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, hey, look, man, I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out. I'll try to think of a better way to keep these streams entertaining and fun for you guys. It seems like the research maybe not the biggest hit, and that's okay. We'll figure it out, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Video coming out later today. Videos over the weekend. Hot D, Episode 1, Season 2 breakdown, Monday on stream. I cannot wait. I am so excited. I will live tweet and talk about in the Discord what's going on with Hot D like on Sunday. So look out for that. And otherwise, I will see you guys on Monday. Town Hall up in the air. Yeah, I'm going to go. My plan right now is to like upload this video, get some food, and try to nap. And if I wake up from the nap and I feel like my migraine is gone, I'll be able to do the Town Hall. What's up with the diamond? We'll have to do that next week, maybe? Next week? Next week? All right, guys. Hey, much love, man. Thank you guys for the support. Appreciate you. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh, man. Appreciate you guys, man. It was fun. Take a little break from Star Wars and Marvel. Talk about the boys. Talk about House of the Dragon. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the love. Thank you for the support. Hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll have some videos out for you guys over the weekend. Monday, Season 2, Episode 1 breakdown. It's going to be dope. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Thank you guys. Much love, man. Remember, open up your third eye and wash out your stinky butt hole. It's the butthole. You gotta wash out the butthole.